Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is expected to face tough questions about his vaccine policies and rapid turnover among leaders at the Centers for Disease Control at a Senate Finance Committee hearing this morning. CBS's Michael Toscano has details from Washington.
Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, a physician, gave crucial support to get Kennedy's confirmation through the Senate after getting what he thought were promises from Kennedy about his anti-vaccine positions, promises he now is said to feel Kennedy broke. Cassidy said he'll use the hearing to question Kennedy about children's health issues, while other senators are expected to look for information on turmoil at the CDC.
Florida Surgeon General wants to make his state the first to get rid of vaccine mandates aimed at protecting kids from diseases like measles and polio. Dr. Joseph Ladapo says it should be up to parents to decide.
It's wrong. It's immoral. They do not have the right to tell you what you put in your body. They don't have the right to tell you what your kids have to put in your body. They do not have the right. Do not give it to them. Take it away from them.
The oldest college in the country has scored a court victory over the Trump administration.
The judge says the administration violated federal law and Harvard's First Amendment rights when it froze $2 billion in federal grants. She found there's little connection between the research affected by the freeze and the anti-Semitism on Harvard's campus. Harvard Medical School student Alexei Stravlopoulos was excited by the ruling.
It's going to inject that energy that, the Harvard research community needs, and a lot of that, comes through funding.
The Trump administration will appeal the decision. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Late last night, administration officials asked the Supreme Court to overturn a lower court ruling that invalidated most of the president's sweeping tariffs on products from dozens of countries. The petition could speed up the case on a centerpiece of Mr. Trump's agenda. What's your take on the economy? CBS's Jesse Mitchell takes a look.
36% of people surveyed in a new CBS News YouGov poll said the economy is good, a 3% drop from July. 61% described the economy as uncertain, while 54% said struggling. The poll finds Americans' outlook varies by income level. People making over $100,000 a year overwhelmingly say the economy is good, while a majority of those making less than $50K say it's bad.
America's lottery losing streak continues.
It's time to play America's favorite jackpot game. This is Powerball.
No one scored the winning numbers for last night's Powerball pot. That means Saturday's prize soars to an estimated $1.7 billion, the third largest in U.S. history. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit progressive.com today.
It is 6:03, and right now we've got mostly cloudy skies, 61 degrees. The news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
It's no secret that parking around here is a challenge.
That could technology from a St. Louis startup make it easier for you to find a place to park in popular downtown Kirkwood?
That's the hope as council members consider expanding what was a test for a few spots a few years ago to a program that would cover hundreds of parking spots across downtown Kirkwood. Startup Fiber would embed the sensors so the city and visitors both know which spots are filled when. Councilwoman Nancy Litzo.
Especially, for end of year holiday shopping and all of that, it's going to help address some of the issues as well as data collection.
And that's a point of agreement on the council.
I do like the aspect of being able to monitor where the parking violations are occurring.
But Councilman Mark McLean still has a concern about the cost benefit.
I still don't know how many residents will use it. Realistically, they just get in their car, drive downtown, and find the first spot they can.
During the 5-year limited test, only about 1,800 people downloaded the Park Kirkwood app. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
There are also concerns about whether the parking system could track people's vehicle movements through Kirkwood. Fiber Chief Technology Officer Brett Behringer says it only detects whether a heavy metal object is parked in a particular spot.
There's an application, it's a map-based application, and it shows graphically what is going on, and each space is defined in that application. Same thing for the consumer-facing one, where it shows where available spaces are. In this case, it shows what violations are there, and it's color-coded according to what the violation is. So it's simply done on time. So
didn't identify. I mean, it's just that a vehicle's there.
that's correct. Yeah. So there's no
vehicle.
Yeah, there's no tracking. There's no personal identifiable information that's used in this.
Tonight's Kirkwood City Council meeting starts at 7.
Cortex, the Midtown Innovation District by IKEA, is full, especially with the announcement of Alzheimer's research firm C2N Diagnostics with a big expansion.
Of course, the C2N story on its own is an exciting story, taking 70,000 square feet of that 150,000 square foot building. But also what that does is today, there's not a single available vacant square foot of lab space in Cortex.
Cortex District CEO Sam Fiorello says when the former Goodwill building on Forest Park Avenue is renovated into a laboratory hub called Catalyst with a 4-story addition, it'll provide more space for more startups. But that's not all. More developments are in the works. More on that in the 8 o'clock hour of Total Information AM.
The largest cannabis expo in the country is back in St. Louis.
I spoke with Wendy Campbell, the vice president of Jake Media, who is helping put on the event. She says some of the coolest technology here, automated rollers for companies large and small.
We've got sorting robotics here. We have Heftas here. We have pre-roller ER here, or Roll Pros here. They're all helping these cannabis companies be more efficient, more effective, reduce their overhead costs, produce more products. Supply and demand meets scale.
She says this is a factor why many young people are choosing to consume marijuana over alcohol. She points to other reasons, such as no hangover and a variety of ways to consume marijuana.
Whether it's a topical, something oral, flower, a pre-roll, a tincture, a gummy, an edible, a beverage. So there's a lot of variety.
Outside Union Station, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The U.S. Department of Justice is investigating voting machines from the 2020 presidential election in southwest Missouri.
As a part of its probe, federal investigators contacted the Jasper County Clerk near Joplin to request an inspection of their equipment. However, County Clerk Charlie Davis says his office no longer has the machines in question, as they were replaced with newer models for the 2024 election. Davis was also confused about the request, noting that President Donald Trump performed exceptionally well in the county during the 2020 election. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Missouri's not the only state hearing from the Department of Justice about voter data. The Illinois State Board of Elections also got a letter telling the state it wants the complete, unredacted voter registration database. The Elections Board says it will not hand that over, citing state laws that protect voters' personal information. The Trump Justice Department says it's about enforcing federal requirements that the state maintain accurate and up-to-date voter registration lists. But Center for Election Innovation and Research Director David Becker says the DOJ has no legal authority to demand personal information and has limited authority to enforce list maintenance. Beck is a former DOJ attorney.
It's 6:08, traffic and weather next.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine, and you could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt, but you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market for a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Well, not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. And listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. So that's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. You cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. So imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt and stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. You get an all-cash offer now by calling 1-855-300-9993. You can also visit TrueHold.com, the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different.
Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10, time for us to check traffic and weather. And Roger Brand starts us off here in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a pretty good morning for most folks on the area roadways, Debbie. We do still have a little bit of a slowdown, and it's looking better, but there's still a little heavy traffic. Eastbound 70 right at Warrenton opens up before you even get midway into the Wright City rest area, so it looks like they're getting that road work picked up. I'm looking at a crash right now. They called it out since our last report on Page at 170. It looks like it's on Page just east of 170. The left lane shut down in both directions. Page east of 170, emergency crews on the scene there. They're still working this crash on Highway 100 west of Highway 00 at Ridgefield Road. It looks like the eastbound side is impacted most. It's backed up eastbound through the area, but they did have it completely shut down. So I think what they're doing is alternating directions of travel through there right now. Again, 100 west of 00. Seeing a little slow traffic in the right lanes, north 55 around Mattis Road. And we do have that crash reported on 21 at Britton Road. That was a vehicle reported off the roadway, however, so I don't expect much in the way of delays there. In fact, emergency crews went back in service, so it's just the police and they're requesting MoDOT. Northbound 67, also a bit of a jam approaching Double C right now. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And now, AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with a beautiful
crash
forecast.
Blocking the left lane in both directions.
Today will turn out to be a nice day as more and more sunshine returns to the area. It'll be a lot cooler than yesterday, though, the high 76. Tonight, clear skies for a while. Some clouds show up late, low 65. For tomorrow, becoming mostly cloudy with some showers around, especially from late morning into the evening hours, the high to 70. But Saturday turns out mostly sunny and pleasant, high 77. Sunny and beautiful Sunday, high 75. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have a mostly cloudy sky at the moment. It's 60 in Florissant, 59 in St. Peter's, starting to clear up there, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is 6:12. With a government shutdown looming at the end of this month, will Democrats take a stand against President Trump's budget? Both sides are arguing about funding for Medicaid, rural hospitals, and foreign aid. Here's Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois.
We have taken a stand, and the stand is for bipartisan negotiation. I'm on the Appropriations Committee. We have successfully passed 8 bills on a bipartisan basis with overwhelming roll calls. Let that be the starting point. If Congress reasserts its constitutional responsibility for funding, does it on a bipartisan basis, we can avoid any crisis.
Missouri lawmakers have started the process to join Texas and California in redrawing the state's congressional maps. Republican Governor Mike Kehoe called for a special session to begin yesterday afternoon. The legislature is expected to pass a bill that would give Republicans in the state an opportunity to win 7 seats in next year's midterm elections. Right now, Missouri is represented by 6 Republicans and 2 Democrats. CBS News political director Finn Gomez.
In that special session that was convened today, called by the Republican Governor Mike Kehoe, specifically to withdraw congressional district maps, now to one that are a new map designed to favor Republicans. But it will target the Kansas City's 5th district. The proposed, quote, Missouri First map would divide Kansas City into 3 districts, diluting the traditional Democratic stronghold.
Kansas City Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver says he will sue if Republicans alter the boundaries of his district. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says Cleaver may be able to file suit under the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
It prohibits redistricting, and sometimes it's referred to as gerrymandering. It prohibits gerrymandering or redistricting if it results in discrimination based upon race, color, or minority status.
Working with President Trump, Governor Kehoe's fighting back.
That is the group Club for Growth running an ad in Missouri in support of redrawing the congressional map.
Kehoe's Missouri First map ensures equal representation for our conservative values in Washington.
Club for Growth intends to spend 7 figures nationally in support of redistricting, and not just in Missouri, but in Indiana and Texas.
The American Cancer Society finds a steep increase in the rate of late-stage prostate cancers.
The news comes after years of decline in diagnosis of the disease. CBS News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. John LaPook says there have been changes to how frequently doctors are supposed to screen patients for prostate cancer.
It's hard to really interpret these statistics because, of course, you initially saw a decrease in the incidence of prostate cancer because we were screening less for it. And then there's been a rise in prostate cancer because you're screening more for it.
The report finds the mortality rates for prostate cancer are twice as high for black men compared to white men. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Cardinal baseball getting the day off today. It's actually the Ted Savage Golf Classic, benefiting Cardinals Care. It's happening out at Whitmore Country Club today, and they'll be talking about a nice win for the Redbirds yesterday. Let's get to Matt Pauley for the very latest.
Nolan Gorman has himself a day in the Cardinals' 5-1 victory over the A's. He has a great day defensively at third while going 3 for 3, hitting his 14th home run of the year. Since June 1st, Gorman has a 790 OPS, which is third behind only Wilson Contreras and Alec Burleson among Cardinals with at least 200 at-bats in that time frame. Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol gives credit to Gorman.
The work leading into it and the approach, like the commitment to the approach. So there's days where there's going to be swing and miss, but you can tell what he's trying to do, and it's just not free swinging, hoping he connects with one of them. So the way he's talking about his approach, the way he's talking about game planning against a starter and then relievers as they come in is exactly what you want. And as long as we're making progress in those areas and then on a nightly basis it's translating, that's what we're looking at. And right now he's done a nice job of that.
The Cardinals are now 47-19 over Gorman's career when he hits a home run. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Matt, I like this one. Call the game, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. 2 outs, and the A's decide to walk Lars Nootbaar intentionally to get to Wilson Contreras. Oh, Wilson does not like that. That fires him up, and he did this.
Facing Contreras, a 3-1 pitch coming up, and that's hit towards left field, looping, and it gets by the left fielder, and it's going to go to the warning track. 1 run scores. Here comes another, and Contreras is headed to third, and he's going to make it safely. 2 Cardinal runs, 2 big insurance runs here in the 8th inning, and the Cardinals now lead 5-1.
And when Contreras got up at third base, he held up 4 fingers, making sure everybody saw it. And he knew intentional walks, he'll come back to burn you, and he did it right there. Cardinals win the game. Good outing by Matthew Liberatore, and they beat the A's 5-1. They take 2 out of 3 in the series off today. Yadier Molina will join Ollie Marmol and his staff in the dugout this weekend. He'll be back once again as the Cardinals host the San Francisco Giants. Over at Worldwide Technology Raceway, it's the Enjoy Illinois 300 NASCAR Cup playoff race happening on Sunday. The Xfinity race is Saturday. They'll start practice and qualifying on Friday, and a lot of activity, including the Confluence Music Festival. In fact, OAR, the band that has been around a while and has created a lot of fans through the years, is going to be playing a live concert at Norwood Hills Country Club as part of the Stiefel Charity Classic. That'll be happening tomorrow night after the first round of play. It's weekend of Champions Tour action at Norwood. We'll get into a lot of sports coming up at 6:45, including some comments from NASCAR driver Chase Briscoe. Eagles-Cowboys tonight as NFL Week 1 kicks off. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-380-9012. 800-380-9012. Again, that's 800-380-9012.
Missouri, get ready. The wait is almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State, and you can sign up today. New Missouri customers can get $300 in bonus bets when we launch on December 1st. Download now and place a $5 bet when we go live. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code KMOX to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. That's code KMOX in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:20. You are listening to Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX, and I'm Debbie Monterrey. That's Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not a bad Thursday morning so far, Debbie. The roads may be a little damp from overnight rains, and we're getting a little more volume out there, but overall, things aren't bad. Just a little slowdown eastbound 70 right at Warrenton, just for a brief duration. It's not even midway into the Wright City Rest area. That's roadwork related. Northbound 55, the right lanes are a little busy. Mattis up to 270. North 270 looks like it's a little busy, at least in the right lanes, as you approach Manchester. If you're heading in on eastbound Highway 30, seeing some backed up traffic at the lights at Double M and House Springs. Highway 100 at Ridgefield Road west of Double O is still backed up, at least eastbound is. There was a head-on collision. They had it completely shut down. I think they just have restricted traffic in the area, alternating directions on 100, so there is a bit of almost a quarter-mile jam eastbound there, and they're still working that crash. Left lane block both directions on Page, just east of 170 as well. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Great forecast from Joe Lundberg, looking at increasing amounts of sunshine today, much cooler than yesterday. High 76, clear tonight, low 65. Tomorrow, a couple of showers in the afternoon or evening, otherwise a high of 70. That's it for tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday, just an incredible weekend. Sunny and pleasant, high each day around 75 to 77 degrees. Currently, it's mostly cloudy and 60 downtown.
The news continues at 6:22. Union machinists at Boeing remain on strike with no new talks scheduled. The two sides appear far apart on a new contract, particularly on the issue of wages. While Boeing has proposed a 40% wage increase, striking workers say the offer is not as good as it sounds, claiming it does not benefit experienced employees and is closer to a 12% hike when properly adjusted. The union is seeking an offer similar to what their counterparts in Seattle received, but Boeing says that is not a realistic comparison.
The Missouri Legislature's second special session of 2025 has begun, with lawmakers convening to file bills on two key issues: congressional redistricting and initiative petition reform. The Republican-led legislature, holding a supermajority, is expected to pass new congressional maps and reform bills next week. Despite their limited power, Democrats say they will raise their voice and oppose the measures. The new maps would likely favor a 7-1 Republican majority in the state's congressional delegation.
Missouri is on track to launch legalized sports betting in less than 3 months, with the Missouri Gaming Commission reporting that preparations are going smoothly. Starting December 1st, Missourians will be able to place bets at the state's casinos and through major mobile platforms like DraftKings and Circus Sports. FanDuel, which missed out on an untethered license, is expected to partner with a brick-and-mortar location. All licenses are set to be awarded simultaneously before the December 1st launch. with a portion of the revenue going to education and the state's compulsive gambling fund.
It's not as heated as, say, a skirmish over the last parking space, but Kirkwood officials are debating a $100,000 high-tech parking solution that's made by a local startup. KMOX's Michael Calhoun tells us about it.
It's no secret that parking around here is a challenge.
So Kirkwood council members are considering a contract with St. Louis startup Fiber to embed sensors into the pavement beneath parking spots downtown. Those sensors would feed real-time data to visitors and city staff about which spots are filled when.
This sounds like it's, a real attempt to try and deal with some of the parking issues that we have downtown. We offer mostly free parking that I'm aware of with, time limited spaces, but this will help.
Councilwoman Nancy Litso.
Especially, for end of year holiday shopping and all of that. It's going to help address some of the issues as well as data collection.
And that's a point of agreement. Councilman Mark McLean.
I do like the aspect of being able to monitor where the parking violations are occurring.
Councilman Paul Schaefer.
If this is real time and we know that somebody's been parked there for 4 hours, is this a tool that we can use to help our parking attendant, Pat, out there to already identify what somebody is way over? I got to meet Pat today, and he does it by hand yet, paper, hand.
But McLean still has a concern about the cost benefit.
I still don't know how many residents will use it. Realistically, they just get in their car, drive downtown, and find the first spot they can.
There was a 5-year limited test of this, and only about 1,800 people downloaded the Park Kirkwood app. There was the suggestion that maybe Kirkwood just deploy this in a few crowded zones, but it's really an all-or-nothing choice if the city wants the tech to have the desired impact, says Fiber Chief Technology Officer Brett Behringer.
If you go into just the key spaces and you say, we're going to monitor just these spaces, then all you're telling people is that the places that where everybody wants to park are full. And so really the way to do it is to say, here's where you want to park, but here's all the other options that surround that.
Part of the goal is to get drivers to stop circling around downtown looking for that primo parking spot.
You can't just say there's nowhere to park. You have to say there's nowhere to park right where you want to go, but here's some of your other options.
There are also concerns about whether the parking system could track people's vehicle movements. Behringer says it's like a big compass, really. It only detects whether a heavy metal object is parked in a particular spot.
There's an application, it's a map-based application, and it shows graphically what is going on, and each space is defined in that application. Same thing for the consumer-facing one, where it shows where available spaces are. In this case, it shows what violations are there, and it's color-coded according to what the violation is. So it's simply done on time. So
didn't identify. It's just that a vehicle's there.
that's correct. Yeah. So there's no
vehicle.
Yeah, there's no tracking. There's no personal identifiable information that's used in this.
And what if the technology becomes outdated? Does the city then have to shell out tens of thousands of more dollars to dig up and replace the sensors?
You pay for the system to go in, and then you don't have to pay again.
And Behringer says they are experienced with this. They've got contracts with parking garage operators in cities across the country, including in St. Charles. And council members admit
it sounds like really cool technology.
They'll consider it at their meeting tonight, starting at 7 p.m. For Total Information AM, Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It is 6:27. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The garage door company that has been around for nearly a century in St. Louis now, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, is ready for your phone call, 314-781-5200. Fall is here, basically, not officially, but you're starting to feel the cooler temperatures. So we know that it's going to get colder as we move along here in the next few months, and your garage door will take the brunt of that. Your garage door, remember, it's partly outside, so the weather stripping is going to need to be replaced. Your opener may need a little TLC, and Overhead Door Company of St. Louis can do that for you. Even if you didn't get a garage door from them, it's fine. They have all brands of doors and openers in their repertoire. Their certified technicians know them all, and you can schedule evening and weekend service with them as well, 314-781-5200. Always look for that red ribbon. That is your assurance that you have the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, you can schedule online, overheaddoorstlouis.com. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
It is 6:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got mostly cloudy skies, 60 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, they're still working the crash on Page east of 170. They have the left lanes closed each direction. Just a little slowdown westbound past the scene right now. Just not a lot of volume in that area, really. If you're on southbound 79, we've got some heavy pockets coming down to a point just north of Main Street. So it's a pretty congested running through there. Just be advised back near Hackman if you're running that way. Southbound 61 actually looks better than that. It's just slow at Wentzville Parkway down to 64 to 70. 64 just a little busy east of Winghaven briefly. Northbound 270, there's some volume. Big Bend up through Doherty Ferry. Northbound 55, the right lanes Butler Hill, Madison. All lanes from Bayless up to River to Pear are a little slow. Still look okay downtown, westbound across the bridges, and there's still a jam. It sounds like they're getting wrapped up, though, but still a backup eastbound 100 at Ridgefield Road. That's west of 00, where we had an earlier head-on collision. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be much cooler today. Yesterday, I think we got up to the upper 80s. Today will be at 76, and despite the clouds this morning, we do have some sunshine in store for today. Tomorrow, we could see a couple of showers around and a high of 70. Right now, it's 60 degrees.
Boeing and striking union machinists remain at a stalemate.
Union workers told KMOX the 40% wage increase touted by Boeing is not quite as good as it sounds on paper, saying it doesn't benefit experienced employees nearly as much. I asked Boeing VP Dan Gillian to elaborate on what experienced workers can expect.
We also have about 22% of our teammates that are at max rates. And for them over the 4 years, the pay increase is about 16%.
Striking union workers outside say it's closer to 12% when properly adjusted.
I would have to be on second shift, making quality additive, attendance additive. And so with that, like the intent, like that quality additive, I wouldn't qualify for that on day one. Second shift, I'm on first shift. I wouldn't qualify for that.
Boeing and union negotiators currently have no talks scheduled. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
After being federally indicted on misdemeanor charges last week, St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's attempt to fundraise off that could also be criminal. In a Facebook post, Sheriff Montgomery is calling for campaign donations to help fight back against his mounting legal troubles. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says even if Montgomery used a GoFundMe instead of his campaign account, he has to be careful.
If he set up the GoFundMe account, it would have ramifications for the same reasons I just outlined, because he's soliciting himself donations for what purports to be a charitable cause to help him with his legal fees.
KMOX is awaiting an official response from a spokesperson for Montgomery.
For the first time in at least 7 decades, St. Louis City zoning regulations are getting a complete overhaul.
City Planning Executive Miriam Keller says the existing code is a patchwork of changes made since the original zoning laws were put in place in the 1950s. Keller tells KMOX's Total Information AM one main goal is making the process easier.
User friendliness and readability. Our code
currently does not achieve that. Keller says there also needs to be fairness in the zoning process, where they work for everyone, not just people who have the most experience navigating it, or maybe who have paying extra for people with that expertise to help them navigate the process. The city is currently taking applications for a community advisory committee. Keller says that committee will be formed later this month. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 6:34. We'll get you your business update from Bloomberg coming up next.
That baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at cardinals.com/TV. Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Tom Ackerman here for Busey Bank and Building Community. We honor the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum for using the history and lessons of the Holocaust to reject hatred, promote understanding, and inspire change. Visitors to the museum are empowered to translate the history of the Holocaust into meaningful action to make our community stronger. Visit the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum in person and online at stlholocaustmuseum.org.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey. Building Community is creating bridges that bring people together. A visit to the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum reminds us that by rejecting hatred and embracing understanding, everyone feels safe, valued, and connected. A community where everyone thrives is what Building Community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
It is 6:36. Total Information AM continues with your money report, sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
Good morning. Federal Reserve officials from around the country say there was little or no change in economic activity in recent weeks. The central bank's latest Beige Book summary noted that consumer spending has been flat to declining as wages for many households failed to keep up with rising prices. Every region noted price increases. Two conservative news channels will face off in court. Newsmax Broadcasting has sued Fox News for allegedly maintaining a monopoly in the market for right-leaning pay TV news. The lawsuit claims that Fox News has kept out or restricted competitors by coercing distributors into accepting unfair terms that prevent them from carrying competing channels. Advertisers are pumped up for the Super Bowl already, buying up ad space. NBC Universal's ad inventory for the upcoming NFL season is 90% sold out, with the 2026 Super Bowl already fully booked, according to a statement yesterday from the entertainment division of Comcast. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leakfilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leakfilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Friday night, the Kansas City Chiefs are set to kick off the new season against the Chargers in Brazil.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
Catch all the action beginning at 6 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
It is 6:40. It's time for us to get you updated on your ride-in and to look at the weather as well. And it's a little on the chilly side compared to what it's been lately anyway. Roger Brand has the latest on your ride-in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it looks like they cleared that crash on Page just east of 170, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Heavy traffic on southbound 61 right now from Highway P down to Wentzville Parkway. It's also slow east of 364 passing Winghaven. Still seeing heavy traffic on southbound 79 coming down at a couple of points from north of Foreman Road. Like almost Dalbo Road, coming down to a point just north of North Main Street. So be prepared there. That's not normally that way. Northbound 270 from about the Sappington Road overpass up to almost 44. We have a crash just before 44 now. Big Bend up through Manchester, Clayton Road up through Ladue, South 270 through Ladue is busy. North 55, the right lane's a little heavy at Butler Hill. Bayless to Weber is kind of slow. And a minor crash in the gravel exit lane westbound 44 at 55 downtown. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It is 6:42 and time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. What a difference a day makes, huh?
Yeah, yesterday we were in the upper 80s. This morning we're starting out in the upper 50s to low 60s, and a cold front has come through, and you're going to feel it. Much cooler day today as those clouds give way to more and more sunshine. Our high 76, and it looks like this comfortable weather will last through the early part of next week at the very least. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, 65. Clouds quickly roll in tomorrow, followed by some rain showers, especially for the late morning and afternoon hours. Should end in the evening, the high 70. Those go away later tomorrow night, followed by sunshine for Saturday. A gorgeous start to the weekend, the high 77. And we'll duplicate that on Sunday. Sunny, the high 75. More the same Monday. Sunny, the high about 77. Down to 59 at St. Peter's and in Florissant. Mostly cloudy, 62 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right. Thank you, Joe. It is now 6:43 and the news continues. You have a chance now to own a piece of Star Wars history.
Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader battle it out with an epic lightsaber fight. That duel, of course, ended with a well-known line. I am your father. And now the lightsaber wielded by Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi goes up for sale at the Prop Store Annual Film and TV Memorabilia Auction in Los Angeles. It's expected to fetch somewhere between $1 million and $3 million.
It is useless to resist.
Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Also up for auction, a Batman costume worn by Michael Keaton and Indiana Jones' 8-foot bullwhip belt and whip holster used by Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. A superhero sequel will be back in theaters faster than a speeding bullet.
It's not a man. Isn't it?
DC Studios co-CEO says the follow-up to this summer's blockbuster Superman will be titled Man of Tomorrow.
and hit theaters in July of 2027. In a post on Threads, James Gunn teased the return of David Corenswet's Clark Kent and Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor with artwork that shows Superman's archenemy wearing a war suit. Last month, Gunn told Collider a new project would begin shooting much sooner than later, but he said it would not be Superman 2. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
DC Studios also planning to release a new Supergirl movie starring Millie Alcock, whose character was introduced in Superman. That'll be next June. A Clayface movie also hits theaters next September. A new Wonder Woman movie is also in development. So apparently we still love our superheroes. Today is the 74th anniversary of the first ever live coast-to-coast television broadcast. President Harry S. Truman addressed the nation from the Japanese Peace Treaty Conference in San Francisco.
I'm glad to welcome you to this conference for the signing of the Treaty of Peace with Japan.
American swimmer Mark Spitz won an unprecedented 7th gold medal at the Summer Olympics in Munich. He was asked that day about all the hard work and pressure he had to endure.
It's been the hardest 8 days of my life. I planned for those 8 days, and now they're done. And I don't look at it as a sacrifice. I look at it as, well, I'm glad I went through with it.
The record stood until American swimmer Michael Phelps won 8 gold medals at the 2008 Games in Beijing.
Well, we have some celebrities in town. Michael Phelps one time came to the PGA Championship, saw Tiger Woods making his way around Belle Reef Country Club. Who will show up at the Stiefel Charity Classic this weekend at Norwood Hills Country Club? You know, they just announced that next year that tournament is going to be in October. It'll be a PGA Tour Champions playoff event. So that's exciting. And it, Tiger Woods is now eligible to play in the Champions Tour. I'm just saying, at some point, maybe something to keep an eye on down the road. He's got to get himself recovered, though, from injuries and get himself playing again. Meantime, we have a playoff race at Worldwide Technology Raceway this weekend. It's the Enjoy Illinois 300. Chase Briscoe is ready to show off for the St. Louis crowd. He won last weekend in Darlington. Joined us on KMOX.
Yeah, honestly, I've always enjoyed coming to St. Louis. It's been a track that, even in the truck series, is kind of similar to Darlington. The first time I went to St. Louis, I just was fast for whatever reason. And the Cup car, the race results haven't necessarily been that way, but certainly from just a speed standpoint, I feel like that's been one of my, I wouldn't say it's my best track, but I certainly feel like it's, kind of right there around the top 10. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to coming there this weekend. It's kind of like a second home race for me. It's only 3.5 hours from where I grew up in Indiana. So we'll have a lot of family there this weekend, which is always cool. And, yeah, just, it's such a hidden part of the motorsports world. I feel like that St. Louis area, there's so many dirt tracks and just race tracks and just honestly race fans in that kind of market. And it's packed every time we come there. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Green flag at 2:00 on Sunday in the Enjoy Illinois 300 NASCAR Cup playoffs at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The Cardinals will be hosting the San Francisco Giants this weekend, and the A's took it on the chin yesterday. Good pitching, Matt Pauley.
Matthew Liberatore takes a clear step forward, throwing 5 1/3 scoreless innings, picking up the win in a 5-1 victory over the A's. It's the first time since June 29th that Liberatore records an out after the 5th inning. Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol is impressed with the outing.
It was really good. Not only holding the velo, but as the game went on, you look at the slider, and that was a really good pitch for him. The shape of it was a lot closer. Some of them were exactly what we wanted. And 7 punch outs. He got some on the slider, on the fastball, on the curveball. So mixed well, but especially against this lineup, man, they threw a decent amount of righties against him, and he navigated it well.
Liberatore now has 7 wins, which is tied for the most by a lefty starter aged 25 or younger in all of Major League Baseball. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens, making memories. St. Louis Composting, located in 9 different places in St. Louis, 9 different locations, reminding you a couple of things about fall. One of them is each year about 1.3 billion pounds of pumpkins end up in landfills. Don't toss your pumpkin. Bring it to St. Louis Composting instead. Starting in October, You can drop off your old pumpkins for free at any of their 9 retail locations. Plus, when you do, you get a $10 coupon toward your next purchase. More details are on the website, stlcompost.com. And fall is one of the best times to be outdoors in the Midwest. I think it is definitely our best season, don't you? So why not spruce up your yard and garden? Plant flower bulbs now for spring color. Trim up your trees, refresh your mulch for a clean, vibrant look. Just a little tip from STL Composting, stlcompost.com.
We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise, but the one thing we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies, 314-991-9005, or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918615.
And you're invited to join us in Forest Park, September 19th and 20th, for the 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Special thanks to New Ground International and Blue Moon Brewing Company. The 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend. For more details, visit the events page at KMOX.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:50. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. Debbie Monterrey, Tom Ackerman, and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still busy on the highways up in Lincoln County. You're coming out of Lincoln County, Debbie, right now. This traffic reports the service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, especially southbound 79. I mean, we're slow, well, maybe a half, 3/4 of a mile south of the Quiver River coming out of Old Monroe all the way down through Hackman. Not a solid jam, but it's pretty busy. Southbound 61P down to Wentzville Parkway has slow stuff. 79 actually looks worse to me than 61 does right now. If you're on eastbound 70, that's a little slow at Wentzville Parkway. A into Lake St. Louis Lewis Boulevard's a little heavy. Eastbound 64, some slow stuff. Prospect to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. 364 through Winghaven. Stop and go pockets there. Northbound 270 backs up north of 55 through Gravel. We had a crash north of there. They cleared it, but it's still pretty congested. It's slow. A big bend up to Doherty Ferry and approaching Ladue Road. South 270 Oliveville Ladue, that's heavy. Northbound Tesson Ferry Butler Hill up through Kennerly looks slow. 55 south of Butler Hill through Mattis. Union Road overpass up through Weber. That's all pretty busy. And downtown westbound a little slow approaching the Poplar Street Bridge. Times are always changing, but Penn Mutual stands the test of time. The 178-year Young Mutual Company is leading the way in life insurance. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast. AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we are in for a treat. It is going to be sunny and cooler than yesterday, a high of 76. Tonight, clear, low 65. Tomorrow, might get a couple of showers around in the afternoon and evening. Otherwise, a nice Friday, a little cloudy maybe, high 70. But Saturday and Sunday, just fantastic days. High 77 for Saturday with sunny skies. Sunday for the NASCAR race, sunshine, beautiful, high 75 degrees. Currently, we are starting to clear in the St. Louis area. Still a little cloudy here and there, 60 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. A man opened fire into a group of people in Barnhart yesterday morning at the Stony Pines apartment complex. Jefferson County Sheriff's Department says one person was shot in the face after multiple shots were fired from a balcony. 43-year-old Justin Turnbow is facing 3 counts of first-degree assault and armed criminal action. Turnbow is currently being held without bond.
The Florissant Valley Fire Protection District responded to multiple calls regarding the odor of natural gas yesterday morning. Fire crews worked with Spire to investigate the source of the odor and ensure public safety. At this time, all reported incidents have been thoroughly checked. One small leak was found and addressed by Spire. There are no immediate hazards to the public at this time. Spire continues to investigate the situation, and fire crews will remain on standby for any additional calls.
The largest cannabis expo in the U.S., JM Unlimited, is back at St. Louis in Union Station through Friday. Wendy Campbell is one of the organizers. She tells KMOX they're seeing more young adults choose marijuana over alcohol compared to older generations. One of the reasons different cannabis can create different feelings.
They can choose their way they want to feel, buy the product that's going to deliver them that, and then wake up tomorrow and feel great to start a whole new day and not regret yesterday's decisions tomorrow morning.
She says Missouri is also a popular state for marijuana in the Midwest, saying it's cheaper here than neighboring states.
Eckert's Grafton Farm has been named on the top 20 apple orchards in the country by USA Today's Best Reader's Choice Awards. Now fans can vote for the top 10 through Monday at 10best.com. Chris Eckert says being named to the top 20 is an incredible honor that reflects generations of hard work. Apple picking is underway now at the Grafton Farm, including Honeycrisps, Fuji's, and Pixie Crunch. In addition to Grafton, Eckert's operates farms in Belleville and Millstadt, as well as Versailles, Kentucky.
The Powerball jackpot soaring again after no one won last night's drawing.
This is Powerball. Good evening, America.
Last night's drawing was for $1.4 billion. Saturday's jackpot will be an estimated $1.7 billion, which would be the third largest in U.S. lottery history. The biggest was a $2.04 billion Powerball payout in November of 2022. As always, the odds of winning are 1 in 292 million.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah! We'll see you back here Saturday night.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and happens to be one of the greatest golfers in history. The 8-time major champion from Kansas City, Tom Watson, is 76 today and turning 44 is Beyonce. Born on this date in 1981.
Birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Lisa Bray, Mike Goat, Dave Loyett, and happy birthday wishes to the director and CEO of the St. Louis County Library, Kristen Sorth.
This is the best birthday ever.
McKelvey Homes is 127 years old. They were founded in 1898, Missouri's oldest home builder, McKelvey Homes. McKelvey Homes all throughout the St. Louis area, and they are really good at what they do. You know, McKelvey Homes features quick move-in homes, communities, floor plans, custom homes, all on their website, McKelveyhomes.com. I'm looking at these homes right now. Here's one in Afton. 6724 Preservation Parkway, 4 beds, 3.5 baths, 4,200 square feet. A couple of them in O'Fallon, Missouri. These are the ones featured on the front page of McKelveyhomes.com. And then you can really take a deep dive and start looking at all the exteriors, the kitchens, the great rooms, the bedrooms, the photo gallery. The McKelvey Homes is a long-standing tradition of quality craftsmanship and exceptional value, and committed to the highest standards of excellence. So when you're ready, go to McKelveyhomes.com and check them out. They build the most sought-after homes in the most sought-after locations. Move up to McKelvey.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com. Now through September 1st, the Labor Day sale is going on at Zero Res. 3 rooms for $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off your air ducts. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
I always get asked, when's the best time of the year to purchase an air conditioning and heating system for your home? My response is always the same. If you call me and have a free consultation on your needs and based on your budget, it's always a good time. There's never a bad time. You don't fear my pricing. I try to buy as much as I can at the start of the season, and anything we have left over, it's still a discounted price to you. So if you're looking or you're waiting before winter, because we all put it off, man, we all put it off. None of us like to spend money. But if you know you're going to be doing something before winter, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, BartInman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, eastbound 64 has slow stuff from 70 all the way in through Winghaven. Northbound 270, 55 up through Sappington. Big Bend up toward Manchester, slow 55. The usual Bayless up to River to Pear stuff is heavy as well. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have a mostly cloudy sky starting to clear up downtown, 60 degrees. I'm Tom Ackerman. These are the stories making news.
Changes to parking in downtown Kirkwood.
It sounds like really cool technology.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone outside the largest cannabis expo in the United States here in St. Louis through Friday. Coming up, I'll talk with one of the organizers about what they can expect here and the business of marijuana in Missouri.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Increasing amounts of sunshine today with a high of 76.
That's good news for all of the sports happening this weekend in St. Louis. Incredibly busy weekend. We'll go through it with you on the way at 7:15.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Critics and supporters will be watching closely when Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. takes the hot seat on Capitol Hill this morning at a Senate Finance Committee hearing. Correspondent Natalie Brand is in Washington.
This hearing is expected to get heated as Secretary Kennedy faces tough questions and growing concerns over the massive changes he's made to the CDC. Ahead of the hearing, 1,000 current and former Health and Human Services staff members released a letter saying that Secretary Kennedy's actions are, quote, compromising the health of the nation, and they're calling for his resignation.
Health experts, including CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder, are worried about a plan by Florida's Surgeon General to do away with vaccine mandates for kids.
These school mandates are the guardrails that kept polio and measles from resurfacing. And you tear down those guardrails and the crash won't just stay contained in Florida. You'll see outbreaks spread fast.
Containment up to 15% in those wildfires that have forced hundreds of people from their homes in central California. Correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti has an update from the historic gold mining town of Chinese Camp.
Hundreds of firefighters are battling the inferno caused by thousands of lightning strikes recorded across the region. CAL FIRE Battalion Chief David Acuna warns the effects of that lightning storm might not be known for days.
When they strike trees and they destroy the tree, sometimes the heat will sit inside that damaged area for quite a while. So the next week is going to be when they begin to emerge.
The death toll up to 17 in a streetcar crash in Portugal. The BBC's Alison Roberts reports from Lisbon.
The car hurtled down the very steep slope, as eyewitnesses indicated, and only did not crash into the other car standing at the bottom of the slope because there's a slight curve just before the end, and so it was derailed and smashed into a building.
The 19th century funiculars are a popular tourist attraction. Investigators won't speculate on the cause. The NBA is investigating an endorsement deal used to get around the league's salary cap.
Leonard whittling inside, finishes, and the foul.
At issue is a $28 million payment Clippers star Kawhi Leonard allegedly received for a no-work contract from a company connected to team owner Steve Ballmer. Former employees of that now bankrupt company claim the deal allowed the Clippers to lowball Leonard's NBA contract so the Clippers could pay other players. In a statement, the Clippers deny they circumvented the salary cap and call the allegations absurd. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Dow futures down 6. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in,
cool as can be. Tap GoodRx, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
It is 7:04, and we've got some sunshine in downtown St. Louis, 60 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. It's a good problem to have. The Cortex Innovation District is filled up. Any available lab space is leased up, but there's more on the way. Cortex CEO Sam Fiorello.
As we're looking to continue to grow local companies, lab companies, and recruit companies from other parts of the country and the world, today we have nowhere to put them. Come 3 or 4 months from now, when that Goodwill building opens up, we've got this inventory to continue to grow and land companies.
The Goodwill building will be turned into a lab hub called Catalyst, with an addition added on. Half of that space will be taken up by C2N Diagnostics, a fast-growing homegrown startup that's developed blood tests for Alzheimer's and other diseases. More on what's next for Cortex at 7:22.
Kirkwood City Council members tonight consider a contract for smart parking technology. They decided to delay a decision at their last meeting. Sensors would be embedded into hundreds of publicly owned spots across downtown Kirkwood, feeding data to both visitors and parking enforcement. Here's Councilman Paul Schaefer.
If this is real time and we know that somebody's been parked there for 4 hours, is this a tool that we can use to help our parking attendant, Pat, out there to already identify what somebody is way over? I got to meet Pat today, and he does it by hand yet, paper hand.
One concern, there's been a limited test of this in a few spots for 5 years, and only about 1,800 people have downloaded the Park Kirkwood app in that time.
I'm Michael Calhoun. One concern, what if the technology becomes outdated? Does the city then have to shell out tens of thousands of dollars more to dig up and replace the sensors?
You pay for the system to go in, and then you don't have to pay again.
Brett Berenger, Chief Technology Officer at St. Louis startup Fiber, cautions against Kirkwood trying to save money by only doing this in a few selected parking spots.
You can't just say there's nowhere to park. You have to say there's nowhere to park right where you want to go, but here's some of your other options.
Berenger says they are experienced with this kind of thing. They've got contracts with cities and parking garage operators across the country. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Little to no progress has been made in negotiations between Boeing and striking union machinists. Boeing Vice President Dan Gillian says negotiators have not given them specifics on what they need to improve, saying improvements need to be made across the board. We asked him what his response would be if they said the economic package needs to be improved.
I think the economics of the offer we have on the table are really strong. 40% wage growth is really strong, and that's up to 60% for some members in progression.
Union workers walking the picket lines say they want an offer closer to what Seattle received.
Almost 40% without being frozen for 2 years for their top of scale guys. They got a better 401k match. So better retirement. They got more vacation up there.
No future talks are currently scheduled between Boeing and the union.
The largest cannabis trade show in the United States is taking place now in St. Louis.
MJ Unpacked will be set up right here at Union Station through Friday. Wendy Campbell, VP with Jake Media, is putting on the event and shares some of the products attendees will see.
They're making products, services, or technologies that help those brands and retailers and growers and manufacturers scale smarter, go to market faster.
She says Missouri is a very big cannabis market in the Midwest.
We kind of call the Midwest the flyover states, right? Missouri's got a lot going for it. Their price compression is slower than most markets. Vertical operators control a lot of the dominating the space, the retail space.
Outside Union Station, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's 7:08. We'll check traffic and weather next.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Frank, did you get the mail?
Coupon, Medicare, AARP. Oh, wait, this one says open immediately.
First one in the trash.
Every day we're bombarded with messages that we don't care about. Problem is, there might be an important message in there that affects you, like retirement. For example, on September 23rd and 25th, Steve All of the All Financial Group will be hosting a Taxes in Retirement seminar at Stone Summit. From the big beautiful bill to taxes on your Social Security, Steve will cover it. It's a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
What about this coupon for a new lawn service?
We live in a condo.
So?
On the 3rd floor. Mom always said I shouldn't have married you.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional or guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10 and time to take another look at traffic and weather. We start with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got some slow traffic on southbound 79 right now, Debbie. Dyer Road down to Vorman Road, roughly on southbound 79. Southbound 61, a little bit better than it was, but it's backed up approaching Wentzville Parkway into 64 through Prospect, and then it's slow again east of 364 past Wing Haven. Once you get around that, though, it's clear sailing all the way into the downtown area. Eastbound 70, Z into 64 is a little slow, but after that, it looks like you're clear. South 270, south of Olive Dilladu, a little busy. North 270, backed up as you're ramping on from 55. Then it's slow pockets through Gravois, Doherty Ferry to Manchester, and just approaching Highway 64. Eastbound 30, West Watson to 270 looks kind of busy. Northbound 55, the right lanes are a little slow. Butler Hill, Mattis, all lanes just from Bayless up to River to Bear. Downtown westbound at the Poplar, just a little slow. Southbound Route 3 again, pretty good size backup. South of 270, most of the way down to West Pontoon. Of course, that's road work that's been going on for months in the Granite City area. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, increasing amounts of sunshine later today. It'll be much cooler than yesterday, our high 76. Tonight, clear skies early, then some cloud late, those 65. Tomorrow will turn mostly cloudy with a couple of showers around, especially from late morning on, the high 70. Saturday, the sunshine returns, a nice day, the high 77. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we're starting to see the sun a little bit more here in downtown St. Louis. It's going to be a really nice day. It's 59 in Florissant, 58 in St. Peter's, 60 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:12. Missouri State Legislature has begun the process, joining Texas and California in redrawing the state's congressional maps. Republican Governor Mike Kehoe called for the special session, which began yesterday.
The legislature is expected to pass a bill that would give Republicans in the state an opportunity to win 7 seats in next year's midterm elections. Right now, Missouri is represented by 6 Republicans and 2 Democrats. CBS News political director Finn Gomez has more.
Critics have denounced this as partisan gerrymandering that could flip that 6-2 Republican-Democratic split to 7-1 in favor of Republicans, all because of the White House, to acquiesce to the demands of the White House. Cleaver called it, quote, a stinky plan. President Trump posted his support for this new Missouri map.
A bill gaining traction in the U.S. House to force the Department of Justice and other federal agencies involved with the Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell investigations to release all unclassified materials related to their work within 30 days. CBS News Department of Justice correspondent Scott McFarland reports on a rally survivors held on Capitol Hill yesterday.
Teresa Helm of Ohio was among the survivors in Washington. She tells CBS News Epstein assaulted her and that Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly arranged it.
She was certainly a master manipulator.
Helm alleged Epstein sexually assaulted her multiple times during their only encounter in 2002.
She changed something within me that I will never get back.
Maxwell's attorney, David Marcus, called Helm's accusation an outlandish claim.
Is of biblical proportions.
Missouri Congressman Wesley Bell on just how important it is for all of the Jeffrey Epstein files to be released. There is bipartisan support for passage of the Files Transparency Act.
Anyone who tells you that downplays this, that says that there's nothing to see here, there's nothing to look at them.
Surviving victims of both Epstein and Maxwell held a press conference on the Capitol steps calling for complete transparency.
Cases of one of the most common types of cancers are increasing.
Prostate cancer rates are on the rise in the U.S. A report by the American Cancer Society found rates have been increasing 3% per year between 2014 and 2021 after years of decline. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook says there have been changes to how frequently doctors are supposed to screen patients for prostate cancer.
The bottom line was, as they started doing less and less screening with PSA for prostate cancer, you had a decrease in the diagnosis of prostate cancer, of course, but then an increase in metastatic prostate cancer.
The report finds the mortality rates for prostate cancer are twice as high for Black men compared to white men. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It's time for sports. Let's kick things off with baseball, and then we're going to tell you all the things that you may be surprised how many people are going to be in town. Better be ready, hotel and restaurant owners. A lot of people coming in today and tomorrow for a lot of different things. We'll break it all down for you. First, let's go to baseball in the broadcast booth for the very latest.
For the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney, and for Mike Claiborne, this is Rick Horton with the Redbird recap. Cardinals last night were able to beat the Athletics by a score of 5-1. Matthew Liberatore pitched outstanding baseball, picked up his 7th victory of the year. He went 5 1/3 innings, did not give up a run against a very tough Athletics offense, who was just 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. So Liberatore the win. The save went to JoJo Romero. Big day for Nolan Gorman, who had a base hit, and a big fly. And the Cardinals had 4 RBIs from their first baseman, Wilson Contreras. A single to right and a triple to left, and Contreras had 3 hits in the ballgame as the Cardinals go to 70-71 with the victory, 5.5 games out in the wild card in the National League. The Cardinals will take on the Giants on Friday. Michael McGreevy, our pregame show at 6:20, play-by-play at 7:05. This has been your Redbird recap.
Ricky Ali Marmol sent a text to KMOX last night letting us know that Yadier Molina is going to be back in the dugout as he will be part of that coaching staff for a few games. This weekend, the Cardinals are taking on the San Francisco Giants, and it's just part of a huge weekend of activity. The Cardinals Hall of Fame weekend, so a lot of big Cardinals names will be back in the house, Yadi included, but he'll eventually be in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. This time around, it's Al Raboski, Edgar Renteria, and Walt Jocketty. Also happening, St. Louis City SC hosting FC Dallas. And while we're talking soccer, can't leave out SLU and SIUE playing for the Bronze Boot on Sunday night. The Champions Tour in town, PGA Tour, a big event. Next year, it's going to be a playoff event. This time around, the Stiefel Charity Classic. CEO Ron Kraszewski telling KMOX yesterday that they drew 2,000 the first day last year. He's expecting 10,000. For that Friday through Sunday event. The weather looks amazing, especially for Saturday and Sunday at Norwood Hills Country Club. And NASCAR Cup playoffs in St. Louis. They are back this time, a playoff race for Chase Briscoe and the drivers, he tells KMOX.
I think they can just expect way more intensity. I mean, when the playoffs come around, the intensity just ratchets up. You know, the chaos kind of gets a little bit higher, I feel like. You know, the restarts, everything is just, there's way more intensity to it because there's way more on the line. And, you know, not to say in the regular season we're not all going for it, because we certainly are, but, you know, just the give and take kind of gets thrown out the window, I feel like, when the playoffs finally come around. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how that looks at St. Louis, just because St. Louis is a track where, you know, typically you do have to give and take some. So, yeah, it'll the restarts will be wild. You know, just the racing in general will be wild. You know, guys will have shorter tempers and everything else because they have the urgency because of the playoffs. So, yeah, I think it'll be an incredible race this weekend.
Chase Briscoe in the playoff field at the Enjoy Illinois 300. It starts Sunday at 2 o'clock at Worldwide Technology Raceway. And really, 2 of the best college football games involve local teams. Mizzou hosting Kansas on Saturday afternoon, and number 11 Illinois at Duke. What a weekend coming. I'm Tom Ackerman. This report, the player to bank on, brought to you by Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine, and you could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt, but you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market for a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Well, not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. And listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. So that's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. You cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. So imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt and stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. You get an all-cash offer now by calling 1-855-300-9993. You can also visit TrueHold.com, the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Let's talk about your backyard, your outdoor space. Is it everything that you would like it to be? Maybe you've been noticing that the deck is starting to fall apart and needs to be replaced, or maybe you have some great plans for what you'd like it to be. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. For 57 years, they are a locally owned, third-generation, family-owned company with thousands and thousands of happy, satisfied customers like me. They built my fence over a dozen years ago. It still looks fantastic, and that's why it is the sign you have the very best. Quality materials, quality workmanship, their own installation teams with years of experience. You're going to love it, and it's going to last for years to come, and that is a true value. If you mention me, Debbie Monterrey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. So tell them what you want, or they can design something for you. Free project design, free in-home estimates. Stop by and see them if you'd like. They're in the Chesterfield Valley with a beautiful showroom. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best at chesterfieldfence.com.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And Roger Brand, of course, he's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're eastbound 70 coming in, Tom. We got some trouble now around the airport. Eastbound 70, first of all, a little busy at Wentzville Parkway. There's slow stuff from K to 79, a little heavy at Cave Springs. 270 into the Rock Road's kind of slow. But at the Cypress exit, they just closed the exit. We have an overturned vehicle crash on the exit ramp. So eastbound 70 cannot get off at Cypress, so just keep that in mind. Police just pulled up to shut that ramp down as I was looking at it. Southbound 61 from Highway P down onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It's slow. It's backed up. 364 past Winghaven. After that, just a little heavy at the Interbelt. Northbound 270 slow. Ramping on from 55 through Gravois. Heavy traffic from Big Bend all the way to Ladue. South 270 Olive to Ladue is heavy. Northbound 55. The right lane slow at Butler Hill. Union Road overpass up to River to Pears. Backed up downtown. Just a little more volume. Westbound 64 approaching Route 3. Headed on to the Poplar Street Bridge. And westbound 64, just a little volume now. Clayton Skinker headed through Bellevue as well as eastbound through that Interbelt area. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's talk about the weather. Things got decidedly cooler as predicted. We had some rain move through overnight, but we will see sunshine today. We just won't see hot temperatures. Our high, 76 degrees, 65 overnight. And then tomorrow we could see a couple showers around, especially in the afternoon and evening. Tomorrow's high 70, and then mid to upper 70s for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with tons of sunshine. Currently 60 degrees downtown.
The news continues at 7:22. You've heard about C2N Diagnostics, a medical tech company having big plans to expand its presence in the Cortex Innovation District. But what does it mean for an area that's been billed as the future of the region? KMOX's Michael Calhoun talks with Cortex CEO Sam Fiorello.
Yeah, no, the C2N story isn't as special. I mean, they're all great wins when we have a company growing, especially a technology company. This is especially exciting since it's a homegrown technology. The technology came from Washington University Medical School labs. They have their origin story here in St. Louis in Cortex with a couple of smaller footprints in 2 buildings in Cortex. And then they hit an inflection point where their technology was suitable to some big companies with new FDA-approved drugs on the market for Alzheimer's detection. And They have a blood test that makes the ability to check if the drugs are working properly easy, fast, non-intrusive. And so watching them increase their footprint here in the Goodwill building, a building that is being put up by one of our partners, Washington University, and growing and hundreds of jobs and putting something out in the world that will really improve not just St. Louis's, but everyone in the world.
Yeah, what's really interesting too is it's such a high profile spot with the Goodwill building, and people remember MERS Goodwill moving out, the building being sold, Washington University taking it over, promising a lot of renovation there, but people wondering what's the tenant going to be, or what type of use is it going to be?
Yeah, and what's really exciting is it's, of course, the C2N story on its own is an exciting story, taking 70,000 square feet of that 150,000 square foot building. But also what that does is today, there's not a single available vacant square foot of lab space in Cortex. We've had the final footprint taken up by Varo Biosciences, which we announced last week. And as we're looking to continue to grow local companies, lab companies, and recruit companies from other parts of the country and the world, today we have nowhere to put them. Come 3 or 4 months from now, when that Goodwill building opens up, we've got this inventory to continue to grow and land companies. And so, great story on a couple fronts. C2N is a great story on its own, but also the availability of more inventory so that we can continue to grow in Cortex is really, really exciting.
So it sounds like things are jam-packed there, especially when it comes to this, really specialized lab space. You can't just go onto the real estate websites and look for any kind of office space if you're in a need for that kind of a facility. So I'm wondering, if things are so full, are there discussions about some of the projects that, especially when the pandemic hit, were kind of put on the back burner? Things like that 4210 Duncan building or the Coleman project, or anything else that's kind of popping in Cortex?
Yeah, so the 4210 building is still on hold, and we're trying to figure out a path forward. So that was designed as a very large building, 300 plus square feet, 300,000 plus square feet. And it's a big nut to put up if we have zero sort of pre-leases. However, the Coleman project in the district is moving forward, and told by the developers they'll be putting a spade in the ground in the next months to start to build that out. We're talking with our partners at Wexford, the folks who are going to build the 4210 building, about potential of another building on another footprint, and so we're having those discussions now. And I'm frankly optimistic that we can move forward. Cortex itself purchased the former headquarters of Legal Services at Eastern Missouri. It's an old 1907 Firestone factory, high floor to ceiling. So we're looking at a path there. We're demoing it now and turning that into lab space. So we will continue to fill out the Goodwill space, which again is, I think, 70,000 square feet of uncommitted. And I'm optimistic that we'll fill that up by the end of 26. And as we continue to fill that out, we'll try to time it with other offerings. It's a tricky game. It's expensive to carry lab inventory that's sitting idle, so you've got to try to time it. And what the Goodwill building does, again, with that, not only the C2N, but with that additional inventory, is it really gives us an important piece here so that you can show a potential tenant here, see this floor here, you can fit this out to your specs and have you in it in 6 to 9 months. And then have the longer term conversations with potential tenants to get other projects going, like the former Firestone building and like other offerings that we have that we're putting before developers and site selection folks today.
Well, there's always something happening in the Cortex Innovation District. And Sam Fiorello, President and CEO of the Cortex Innovation Community, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed here on KMOX, Sam.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
It is 7:28. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Genesis of St. Charles. Look no further when you're looking for a new car. Genesis of St. Charles is ready for you. I've told you about the great facility, and I love it. 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. I meant it when I said it's the best car dealership I've ever walked into. I've never seen a facility quite like it. I'd hang out there all day if I could. But what I really appreciate as well is how innovative Genesis of St. Charles is. You know, when you get a luxury vehicle like Genesis, you expect luxury service. How about 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet, complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, a loaner vehicle at no additional cost, luxury service like you've never seen, and Genesis models, new ones in stock, ready for you to drive home today. Or you can buy online and let them deliver to you. They'll bring the test drive to you. You can schedule it all easily online at genesisofstcharles.com. They are the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025, and Genesis of St. Charles is Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership. The Genesis vehicles are as good as everybody's been telling you. Go test drive one. You'll love them. And say hi to everybody there for us, including their manager, Shay. GenesisofStCharles.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-7718. 800-525-7718. 800-525-7718.
Looking for a place to call home without all the maintenance? Check out the Towns of Linneman Park, new townhomes by Lombardo, located in St. Peters. These new construction townhomes are located on the south side of 36494, east of Harvester Road, and offer floor plans featuring 2 to 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a loft, and 2-car attached garages. Community amenities include a clubhouse, pool, pickleball courts, dog park, and walking trails. Tour our newly decorated display and fall in love with your new townhome. Visit lombardohomes.com for more information.
It is now 7:31, cloudy skies, but I do see some sunshine in downtown St. Louis. 60 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brands of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're working with this crash, Tom. I mentioned last time up the ramp eastbound 70 to Cypress is currently shut down because of an overturned vehicle crash on the ramp. Crews came up the wrong way on the ramp to deal with it, so that's why it's closed for safety reasons. So you can't get off at Cypress right now. Eastbound 70, Westfield Parkway into 64. It's Slow Lake St. Louis into TR Hughes. It's heavy again east of the Blanchette Bridge into that Cypress area. So looking at all the flashing lights, and of course some folks want to get off at Cypress and can't right now. Southbound 61, north of Westfield Parkway into 64 through Wing Haven, pretty heavy. A little slow down at Clarkson, McKnight through Hanley. Westbound 64, Science Center to Hanley, slow. South 270, Page to Ladou's busy. North 270, jam from 55 to Tesson Ferry, and then slow north of there all the way to Ladue. Eastbound 30, West Watson to 270 looks busier. 55, Union Road overpass up to River to Pear, backed up. Westbound 64, west of the 70 split, kind of slow in spots to the Poplar. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We will see some sunshine today and a high of 76. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers around in the afternoon and evening, a high of 70. Right now, it's 60 degrees downtown.
It's 7:32. St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is calling on donations to his campaign in a new social media post, asking his supporters to help fight back against his mounting legal challenges. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says if the sheriff uses these donations to pay for his legal fees, he would need to be properly registered.
Ironically, if he is out soliciting for charitable donations, he would have to register with the Attorney General's office, which again is ironically the very office that's trying to oust him from his own office.
Young says if he doesn't, Montgomery could face criminal charges. KMOX has reached out to a spokesperson for the sheriff and is awaiting an official response.
The U.S. Department of Justice is investigating voting machines from the 2020 presidential election in southwest Missouri.
As a part of its probe, federal investigators contacted the Jasper County Clerk near Joplin to request an inspection of their equipment. However, County Clerk Charlie Davis says his office no longer has the machines in question. as they were replaced with newer models for the 2024 election. Davis was also confused about the request, noting that President Donald Trump performed exceptionally well in the county during the 2020 election. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
It's now 7:33, and Missouri is not the only state hearing from the Department of Justice about voter data. The Illinois State Board of Elections also got a letter telling the state it wants the complete unredacted voter registration database. The Elections Board says it will not hand that over, citing state laws that protect voters' personal information. The Trump Justice Department says it's about enforcing federal requirements that state maintain accurate and up-to-date voter registration lists. But Center for Election Innovation and Research Director David Becker says the DOJ has no legal authority to demand this info and has limited authority to enforce list maintenance. Beck is a former DOJ attorney.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 7:34.
When we started Neovitin back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
It's now 7:36. Your money report is sponsored by UC Bank.
Good morning. Apple is planning to launch its own artificial intelligence-powered web search tool next year, giving its rival OpenAI some competition. Sources tell Bloomberg the company is working on a new system that will be integrated into the Siri voice assistant. The search tool is dubbed internally as World Knowledge Answers. Apple shares climbed to a session high yesterday after Bloomberg News reported on the search plan, adding to earlier gains. Shares of American Eagle Outfitters rallied in after-hours trading yesterday. The clothing company's latest quarterly results topping Wall Street forecasts. American Eagle says a controversial ad campaign featuring actress Sydney Sweeney was successful. And McDonald's has withdrawn from a trade group that lobbies on behalf of the restaurant industry. The fast food chain is at odds with the National Restaurant Association, which supports tipped wages, something McDonald's opposes. The company's executives discussed the move with analysts during a recent meeting. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Within the cities we call home, UC Bank is more than a name. It's a commitment to your dreams. With UC, trusted guidance is tailored to empower you every step of the way. Whether it's seamlessly managing your finances or planning for your future, UC is dedicated to your financial success. UC Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
To enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission, $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer insured's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-380-9012. 800-380-9012. Again, that's 800-380-9012.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for 213 Complex, which you can pick up at Supplement Superstores. With school back in session, you're into a new routine. That routine's going to last. Make it a fitness routine as well. I know that's what I'm doing in advance of the holidays, and I'm using 213 Complex to get it done because what I'm getting is all-day boost to the metabolism, 24 hours a day. I get appetite control, which is huge for me, and all-day focused energy that comes with no jitters. So for you, just go to Supplement Superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will give you 30% off the 213 Complex. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Grab some friends and make your own fall planter at our DIY workshop at Chesterfield Valley Nursery's Garden Center. Learn to create your own fall fabulous planters for your porch or patio in our fall planter class. Our garden center provides different planter sizes to choose from, as well as organic Coast of Maine potting mix and a selection of beautiful fall flowers. Bring fall home with a porch or patio planter when you attend a DIY planter class in the garden center at Chesterfield Valley Nursery.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:40. This is Total Information AM. I'm seeing sunshine downtown and a little bit of a breeze. We'll take a closer look at the forecast coming up after we check the roadways with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, lots of slow traffic out there, Debbie. No surprise. As traffic reports a service of FanDuel Sports Network. Eastbound 70 is bogged down from David Hochul into Wentzville Parkway from Highway A all the way in through T.R. Hughes. It's busy again at 5th Street, and it jams at 270 into Cypress. Again, that Cypress exit is closed. The on-ramp's open from Cypress, but the eastbound 70 exit to Cypress closed because of an overturned vehicle crash on the ramp. Southbound 61, south of Highway P onto 64, all the way past Winghaven, slow. Annie Guns through Clarkson, east of Lindbergh through the Innerbelt's busy. Westbound 64, Kings Highway to Hanley's pretty heavy. South 270, Dorset to Ladue is busy. North 270 backs up, ramping on from 55, but then it's just bogged down all the way up to Ladue. Northbound 55 has a backup almost a mile coming into 67. It looks like roadwork restrictions there. Then, of course, the usual delays. Union Road overpass to River to Pear downtown, westbound 64 from the 70 split to the Poplars, pretty heavy. Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your TV and streaming home of the Cardinals. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals or watch through your TV provider. Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com for details. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg is along with us to tell us the good news about a great weekend.
Tom, it is going to be fantastic this weekend. We have one more little blip between now and then. That'll be later tomorrow with a disturbance moving through at a front. Really, there'll be some clouds and a few showers around from late morning into the afternoon, early evening hours, and temperatures near 70. Today, turns out mostly sunny and cooler. The high 76 tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 65. It does cloud up tomorrow. We will see some showers, especially in the afternoon and evening, the high 70. They go away later tomorrow night. Turns out sunny and gorgeous on Saturday with a high of 77. Sunny, beautiful Sunday, the high 75. It continues Monday with sunshine, the high 77. Should be back to 80 or so by the middle of next week. Right now, 58 at St. Peter's, 59 at Florissant, and fairly sunny, and 62 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It does look nice down here in weather, sponsored by Chuck's Boots, the Midwest's largest boot stores. Boots for every walk of life, rugged work boots, stylish fashion, comfortable hiking boots, cowboy classics, uniform boots, and motorcycle gear. Chuck's Boots in Fenton and St. Peter's. chucksboots.com.
It is 7:43. The Missouri Legislature's second special session of 2025 has begun. Lawmakers convening to file bills on two key issues: congressional redistricting and initiative petition reform. The Republican-led legislature, which holds a supermajority, is expected to pass new congressional maps and reform bills next week. Despite their limited power, Democrats say they will raise their voice and oppose those measures. The new maps would favor a 7-1 Republican majority in Congress and would also limit people's abilities to pass constitutional amendments.
Governor Mike Kehoe is being sued for calling out the National Guard ahead of the No Kings protests in June. Lucas Searpot says his First Amendment rights were violated and he felt intimidated and not safe to attend, according to The Independent. Searpot is the son of a Republican lawmaker and a disability rights activist from Blue Springs. He calls Kehoe's actions an abuse of process, declaring a false emergency where none existed. The anti-Trump protests around the state were large but peaceful.
President Trump says he will deploy troops to Chicago, but won't say when. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin was asked on CNN whether he thought it would make a difference to have some help from the National Guard to fight crime.
It certainly could, but the starting point is this. Local officials, like a governor and a mayor, can work with federal officials to be more effective in reducing crime. That's a given. I accept that. But in the situation in Chicago, this is not a negotiation any way whatsoever.
Durbin believes Trump wants to put more troops in Chicago to ramp up his deportation efforts.
The president is also setting his sights on sending troops to New Orleans and Baltimore.
The challenge is that the National Guard, while it has a presence in a city like D.C., where we are, you see them out on the streets, they can't really, by law, perform most law enforcement functions. So they're mostly there to serve as a deterrent to crime. That's happened here in D.C. We'll see if it lasts once the Guard is gone. We'll see if the president can make the same thing happen in New Orleans.
That's CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cortez at 7:45. Sports. Last night, Wilson Contreras. I love when things happen like this. The A's messed with the wrong guy. They intentionally walked Lars Nootbaar to get to Wilson Contreras. You know that gets him fired up, don't you? Contreras at the plate. It's the 8th inning. The Cardinals are up 3-1. Wilson delivers on KMOX.
Facing Contreras, a 3-1 pitch coming up, and that's hit towards left field, looping, and it gets by the left fielder, and it's going to go to the warning track. 1 run scores. Here comes another. And Contreras is headed to third, and he's going to make it safely. 2 Cardinal runs, 2 big insurance runs here in the 8th inning, and the Cardinals now lead 5-1.
They won it 5-1, and they got great pitching, Matt Pauley.
Matthew Liberatore takes a clear step forward, throwing 5 1/3 scoreless innings, picking up the win in a 5-1 victory over the A's. It's the first time since June 29th that Liberatore records an out after the 5th inning. Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol is impressed with the outing.
It was really good, not only holding the velo, but as the game went on, you look at the slider, and that was a really good pitch for him. The shape of it was a lot closer. Some of them were exactly what we wanted. And 7 punch outs, he got some on the slider, on the fastball, on the curveball. So mixed well, but especially against this lineup, man, they threw a decent amount of righties against him, and he navigated it well.
Liberatore now has 7 wins, which is tied for the most by a lefty starter aged 25 or younger in all of Major League Baseball. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
After the game, Ollie Marmol sent a text to us letting us know that Yadier Molina is going to be in the dugout with him this weekend when the Cardinals take on the San Francisco Giants. First game Friday, then they run through Sunday, and that will be a theme here in St. Louis, Friday through Sunday, September 5th through the 7th. First of all, you have the Cardinals Hall of Fame weekend with Edgar Renteria and Al Raboski and Walt Jocketty posthumously going into the Cardinals Hall of Fame, and the Cards taking on the Giants. City plays this weekend. The Bronze Boot is this weekend, so soccer fans will be busy. PGA Tour champions in town. The Champions Tour, the Stiefel Charity Classic at Norwood Hills Country Club, starts tomorrow and runs through Sunday. And the NASCAR Cup playoff race is here. The teams are coming in today. The Fan Fest is at Ballpark Village this afternoon. Qualifying and practice for Xfinity and Cup is tomorrow. The Xfinity race Saturday, and Sunday, the Enjoy Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Chase Briscoe just won at Darlington last weekend. He's excited.
Yeah, honestly, I've always enjoyed coming to St. Louis. It's been a track that, even in the Truck Series, it's kind of similar to Darlington. The first time I went to St. Louis, I just was fast for whatever reason. And the Cup car, the race results haven't necessarily been that way, but certainly from just a speed standpoint, I feel like that's been one of my, I wouldn't say it's my best track, but I certainly feel like it's, kind of right there around the top 10.
He's one of the hottest drivers right now, Chase Briscoe on KMOX yesterday. We have plenty of coverage all weekend long. Sports on a Sunday morning is going to be a busy one this Sunday leading into Cardinal baseball. Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. It would be a good weekend to be at Innsbrook if you don't want to be here in St. Louis. I'll tell you what. You could come back and forth between St. Louis and Innsbrook and be very comfortable. Innsbrook's only an hour from where I'm sitting right now in downtown St. Louis. And then a couple of hours from here, Columbia, Mizzou KU, that'd be a good spot if you can grab one for the weekend to have a home at Innsbrook to go back to after the game, before and after the Mizzou KU game. See, I'm just coming up with ideas for you. Innsbrook's a great spot. Innsbrook-resort.com, especially with the weather like we're going to have this weekend. It just doesn't get any better for hiking, for fishing, for hanging out with friends by the water, for kicking back at night. It's going to cool off a little bit. You could build a campfire, toast some marshmallows with the kids. There's nothing like Innsbrook. Just check out all the pictures and read all about it at Innsbrook-resort.com. Innsbrook-resort.com.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live, it's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News & World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour with Lynch or to RSVP for our senior prom on September 24th with live entertainment by the Backstreet Cruisers. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
Today is the Humane Society of Missouri's Day of Giving, dedicated to sharing true stories about animals rescued from abuse and neglect. Watch inspiring stories and make a difference by donating at hsmo.org/dog. hsmo.org/dog.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 7:50. Let's get you updated on traffic and weather. We do have some sunshine, a little bit of a breeze, a much cooler day in store than yesterday. We'll get to that in just a moment, but how's your ride in looking? Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, slow for the most part, Debbie. In fact, the exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Cypress is still closed because of the overturned vehicle crash on the ramp. Eastbound 70 still bogged down from, Highway Z really all the way into TR Hughes, and then it's backed up from about 5th Street into Cypress because of it. 364 east of Bryan Road through Gudermuth is heavy. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway onto 64 through Prospect is busy. 364 through Winghaven, slow. 94 to Research Park. Through the Chesterfield Parkways and east of 270, busy all the way into the Interbelt where, of course, it jams. Westbound 64, Science Center to Hanley's pretty congested. South 270, Dorset to Ladue is slow. North 270, north of 55. Off the pace all the way to Ladue. Northbound 55, still have a backup approaching 67 down in Festus. I believe that's roadwork related. And then Green Park all the way up through Virginia is busy. Eastbound 44 past the Poplar out on a westbound 70 to about Salisbury slow. And westbound 64 Baugh to the Poplar is also heavy. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Great day out there, Roger. We're looking at temperatures not much higher than 75, 76 for the high, says Joe Lundberg. And that'll be a common theme throughout the week. Tonight, clear 65. Tomorrow, a little rain in the afternoon, evening, high 70. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, sunshine, beautiful each day, high 75 to 77 degrees. Currently, we are seeing some sun in downtown St. Louis. It's already starting. 60 degrees at the Arch.
It is 7:52. The Illinois Secretary of State investigating what he says are unfair and discriminatory practices in the auto insurance industry.
Alexei Janulius tells KMOX car insurance rates aren't calculated on the basis of someone's actual driving record.
To give you an idea, a safe driver with a poor credit score will pay more than a driver with a DUI.
He adds what you pay also depends on where you live.
Those living in predominantly minority zip codes pay at least 10 times more than those living in non-minority zip codes with the same driving records.
The Secretary of State is pushing for legislation to combat those issues. The insurance industry has argued that could weaken the market and reduce options for vehicle owners. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The Mansion House overlooking the Arch Grounds is empty. So is City Place next door. Along with Gentry's Landing, the three modernist buildings first built in the early 1960s, once lauded as the city's first examples of steel and glass international style architecture. St. Louis-based development firm New and Found was unable to tell the Business Journal when a $168 million renovation of the Mansion House would begin, but CEO Steve Smith says they are getting there. No construction permits have been filed yet. City Place has been vacant since 2019. A plan to convert the hotel back into apartments faltered when another developer failed to get financing.
MERS Goodwill is merging with Goodwill of Western Missouri and Eastern Kansas. MERS Goodwill is based in downtown St. Louis and is the region's largest nonprofit, while the Kansas City-based operation is the 36th largest in their region. The two Goodwill organizations say the merger will unite their strengths and resources to expand services, enhance programs, and create greater impact. The consolidation effort is happening over the next few months, but a spokesperson didn't immediately respond to the Business Journal about who would lead the combined organization or where it would be based.
Missouri is on track to launch legalized sports betting in less than 3 months, with the Missouri Gaming Commission reporting that preparations are going smoothly. Starting December 1st, Missourians will be able to place bets at the state's casinos and through major mobile platforms like DraftKings and Circa Sports. FanDuel, which missed out on an untethered license, is expected to partner with a brick-and-mortar location. All licenses are set to be awarded simultaneously before the December 1st launch, with a portion of the revenue going to education and the state's compulsive gambling fund.
Speaking of gambling, the Powerball jackpot is soaring again because no one won last night's drawing.
This is Powerball. Good evening, America.
Last night's drawing was for $1.4 billion. Saturday's jackpot will be an estimated $1.7 billion, which would be the third largest in U.S. lottery history. The biggest was a $2.04 billion Powerball payout in November of 2022. As always, the odds of winning are 1 in 292 million.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah! We'll see you back here Saturday night.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Well, Oasis made some headlines recently. Now another British rock band is reuniting for a few live performances.
But I'm a creep. Radiohead have announced 20 shows taking place in 5 cities across Europe and will perform 4 nights in each city, including Madrid, London, and Berlin this November and December. The band last performed in 2018 in support of their last album, 2016's A Moon-Shaped Pool. It's unclear if the band is preparing a new release of original material. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Those are two of my absolute all-time favorites, Oasis and Radiohead.
They're great.
I did not go see them, though, in Chicago, Oasis. Told myself I would always go if they came back on tour, but I did not, because it would have been like $600 for a ticket in the nosebleed seats, and I decided not to.
Well, you know, everything has its price. If you really wanted to and spent the money.
I know.
Yeah. It's $7.56.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill. But those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in. Cool as can be. Tap Good RX. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insured.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Did you know that you have a pension and there are ways to maximize how you take it? That's right. It's called Social Security. Find out more at retiresafestl.com/guide. That's retiresafestl.com/guide.
Roger Brand's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have heavy traffic from Lake St. Louis most of the way into 79, and it's stop-and-go pockets from 5th Street all the way into Cypress. That Cypress exit, eastbound 70, still closed because of the overturned vehicle crash. Northbound 270, north of 55, still busy all the way to Ladue. South 270, Dorset through Page, and then south of there, a little busy at Ladue after that. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Thursday, September. I'm Debbie Monterrey. Need to lose weight? Pickleball may be the answer if you're worried about injuries.
Oh, I'll be interested to hear that because I've heard some people get hurt playing
I have
pickleball.
too.
I have some friends who did. So that's interesting. I'm definitely tuning into that. Kirkwood is weighing a high-tech parking solution. That story is coming.
Manufacturers are feeling more pressure from rising costs. We'll get the latest snapshot of the economy from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis.
An early childhood center is in operation for 85, is planning a reunion.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Increasing amounts of sunshine today with a high of 76.
It's 8 o'clock.
Of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is expected to face a barrage of questions over vaccine mandates, his leadership at the CDC, and employee turnover there when he testifies at a Senate committee hearing next hour. Correspondent Weijia Jiang is in Washington.
Senators from both parties are expected to grill Secretary Kennedy about the ongoing controversy. Just yesterday, more than 1,000 former and current HHS staffers signed a letter to Kennedy and members of Congress demanding his resignation. They warned Secretary Kennedy's actions are compromising the health of this nation and called on President Trump and lawmakers to replace him.
There's growing controversy over a plan by Florida Surgeon General to get rid of state vaccine mandates for kids. He says it should be up to mothers and fathers to decide. Parents at Palmetto Middle School are mixed.
Being into healthcare, I really strongly disagree that they should not, take that away from the state as a whole.
Because they need their shot, they need their vaccine in order to get an education, and I think that's wrong.
Crews in Central California are waging a grueling battle to tamp down the flames of explosive wildfires that have forced hundreds of people from their homes. Correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti reports from Tuolumne County.
The massive lightning-fueled fire southeast of Sacramento ravaged the historic Gold Rush-era town known as Chinese Camp, named for the immigrant miners who settled here. Hundreds of firefighters are battling the inferno caused by thousands of lightning strikes recorded across the region.
The fires are about 15% contained. New data from the CDC suggest Americans aren't eating enough fish. CBS's Michael George.
Dietary guidelines suggest we should eat 2 servings of seafood a week for nutrients like protein, omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, and vitamin D. But the CDC found only 7% of children eat 2 servings of seafood a week, and only about a quarter of adults do. Families with higher incomes tended to consume more seafood.
Did you hope you'd get lucky? Sorry to break it to you. There was another no winner for Powerball.
This is Powerball. Good evening, America.
Last night's drawing was for $1.4 billion. Saturday's jackpot will be an estimated $1.7 billion, which would be the third largest in U.S. lottery history. The biggest was a $2.04 billion Powerball payout in November of 2022. As always, the odds of winning are 1 in 292 million.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah! We'll see you back here Saturday night.
Michael Wallace, everyone. CBS News.
Dow futures are down 10. Nas futures up 28. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit progressive.com.
8:03, we have sunny skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, September 4th. The news sponsored by St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. Little to no progress has been made in negotiations between Boeing and striking union machinists. Boeing Vice President Dan Gillian says negotiators have not given them specifics on what they need to improve, saying improvements need to be made across the board. We asked him what his response would be if they said the economic package needs to be improved.
I think the economics of the offer we have on the table are really strong. 40% wage growth is really strong, and that's up to 60% for some members in progression.
Union workers walking the picket line say they want an offer closer to what Seattle received.
Almost 40% without being frozen for 2 years for their top of scale guys. They got a better 401k match, so better retirement. They got more vacation up there.
No future talks currently scheduled between Boeing and the union. It's big news for St. Louis C2N Diagnostics, which commercialized the first blood test for Alzheimer's, taking up a significant amount of space in the former Goodwill building on Forest Park Avenue. Cortex Innovation District CEO Sam Fiorello.
The C2N story isn't especially, they're all great wins when we have a company growing, especially a technology company. This is especially exciting since it's a homegrown technology. The technology came from Washington University Medical School labs.
Fiorello tells KMOX the renovation of the Goodwill building into a facility called Catalyst is good news, too, because Cortex is now out of lab space. It's all been leased up. Catalyst coming online will mean more space for more startups. Washington University's plans for the site of the former Goodwill building in the Cortex Innovation District are taking shape as the 9-figure redevelopment now has a confirmed anchor tenant, C2 Diagnostics. The now $100 million project includes renovating the 7-story Goodwill building at 4140 Forest Park Avenue, plus adding a 4-story addition. The project being led by WashU affiliated developer Bob LLC, according to a Wednesday news release from WashU announcing details of the project. Parking in Kirkwood could go high-tech.
It sounds like really cool technology.
But is it cool enough for council members to approve a 6-figure contract with St. Louis startup Fiber to embed sensors into the pavement beneath parking spots downtown? Kirkwood Councilman Mark McLean.
Yeah, I think $102,000 is a lot of money for an application that's not being utilized right now by very many residents.
There's been a test for 5 years in a few parking spots, and about 1,700 people have downloaded the Park Kirkwood app. Councilwoman Nancy Lutzow thinks expanding this is smart.
This sounds like it's, a real attempt to try and deal with some of the parking issues that we have downtown. We offer mostly free parking that I'm aware of with, time limited spaces, but this will help.
And some on the council hope that's the hook for the new tech. Not only does it tell visitors which spots are open, it could also tell Kirkwood parking enforcement which spots have been filled for too long. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's really an all or nothing choice for Kirkwood if it wants the technology to have the desired impact. That's according to FYBR Chief Technology Officer Brett Behringer.
If you go into just the key spaces and you say, we're going to monitor just these spaces, then all you're telling people is that the places that where everybody wants to park are full. And so really the way to do it is to say, here's where you want to park, but here's all the other options that surround that.
Part of the goal is to get drivers to stop circling around downtown looking for a primo parking spot, the contract on the agenda for tonight's 7 p.m. council meeting. The largest cannabis expo in the country back in St. Louis.
I spoke with Wendy Campbell, the vice president of Jake Media, who is helping put on the event. She says some of the coolest technology here, automated rollers for companies large and small.
We've got sorting robotics here. We have Heftas here. We have pre-roller ER here, or Roll Pros here. They're all helping these cannabis companies be more efficient, more effective, reduce their overhead costs, produce more products. Supply and demand meets scale.
She says this is a factor why many young people are choosing to consume marijuana over alcohol. She points to other reasons, such as no hangover and a variety of ways to consume marijuana.
Whether it's a topical, something oral, flower, a pre-roll, a tincture, a gummy, an edible, a beverage. So there's a lot of variety.
Outside Union Station, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's 8:08. We'll get a check of traffic and weather in 2 minutes here on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision. It should not be based on advertisements.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
This is Tom Becker with Climate Masters. We don't just sell air conditioners, we sell comfort. We sell solutions. We sell a job well done, and we fix bad jobs. Climate Masters, because you need someone you can trust. Someone who earns your respect and 5-star reviews. Climate Masters, selling high-quality Carrier air conditioners. Turn to the experts. Climate Masters, quality work for over 40 years. Just type in Climate Masters and give us a call.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10. Let's see how things are rolling for your morning rush. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have a jam on eastbound 70 running from 5th Street in through to almost the Rock Road, but then it's opening up. They cleared that crash, and the exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Cypress has been reopened. So traffic, like I said, is opening up as you approach the Rock Road, but jam back into St. Charles City right now. Eastbound 64 from 70 through Winghaven, still slow, a little busy at Clarkson. From Ballas all the way in through Hanley is pretty busy. South 170 bogs down at Olive. Westbound 64 Science Center to Hanley slow. South 270 approaching Olive to Ladue just busy now. North 270 a little slowdown at Tesson Ferry. Gravelway to 44. Big Bend up to Ladue. Those are all just busy. 44 Lindbergh in through Big Bend. With some congestion there. Northbound 55 still has that backup about a mile long. Approaching 67 in Festus. It looks like roadwork restrictions there. And then Bayless up to River de Pears slow on the Illinois side. Westbound 64 from the 70 split onto the Poplar is heavy as well. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will turn out to be a nice day as more and more sunshine returns to the area. It'll be a lot cooler than yesterday, though, the high 76. Tonight, clear skies for a while. Some clouds show up late, those 65. For tomorrow, becoming mostly cloudy with some showers around, especially from late morning into the evening hours, the high to 70. But Saturday turns out mostly sunny and pleasant, high 77. Sunny and beautiful Sunday, high 75. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we have sunny skies, 60 degrees in Florissant, 59 in St. Peters, and 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Researchers say if you're overweight and need to add more physical activity, playing pickleball might be the best option. Let's talk with one of the researchers of that study published in Sports Medicine Open. I am joined this morning by Dr. Olu Owe, Associate Professor of Physical Therapy at St. Louis University and the lead author of the study. Doctor, thank you so much for being with me this morning. There we have you. Doctor, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What led you to study injury rates in pickleball?
Oh, that's a great question. So I do sports injury prevention research. I've done that type of research in youth sports for several years. And recently I started playing pickleball myself. And I was interested in knowing what the injury rates were. And, in order to prevent injuries, you need to understand the scope of injuries, the rate of injuries in terms of the risk and risk factors. So I realized that there was no study done so far in terms of injury risk in players when it comes to all types of injuries. What we currently had before our study came out were injuries reported to the emergency records, to the emergency centers, and that didn't provide a true picture of the injury risk among players. So we decided to do a comprehensive study across the entire nation that would give us a true picture of injury risk in players and risk factors associated with these injuries. So that was actually the driving force.
What were your basic findings when it comes to injuries and pickleball?
So we did a study. We did what we call a cross-sectional survey. We asked players questions around injury they've had over the past 12 months, and we talk about all complex injuries, including both non-time loss injuries and time loss injuries, meaning injuries that kept them away from play and injuries that didn't keep them away from play. And so we found that 2 out of 5 players actually had injuries that kept them away from pickleball, that is time loss injuries, over the past 12 months. And 1 out of 3 continue to play with pain, with discomforting pain. And one of the striking results was that 2 out of 3 actually had an incident over the past 12 months. And injury rates were higher in players that had less experience, and players that had more than 5 years of experience had less injuries. And also, one of the striking factors, the surprising results that we found was that overweight or obesity was not a risk factor for injuries in pickleball players. So that might be a good physical activity intervention for folks that are looking for ways to stay fit, regardless of having a high BMI.
What are the most common injuries for pickleball players?
So the most common injuries were overuse injuries, what we call chronic problems. Essentially, folks have problems that like strains and pain, like patellar issues, tendon issues, like patellar tendon pain, Achilles tendon pain. They had chronic joint pain, like elbow pain in the elbow, pain in the shoulder. I don't want to go into the weeds of the specific type of injuries, but basically they had pain around their knees, their shoulder, their back, and the most commonly affected body parts was the knee, the shoulders, and the elbows and the back. Those were the top 4 mostly affected body parts in the body for both males and females.
I'm curious why the measurement of body mass index. Do you see in other sports that maybe people with the higher body mass index have higher rates of injury compared to other players?
So to my knowledge, we did a systematic review about 5 years ago while I was in my postdoc at the University of Calgary in Canada. And we found, and a systematic review is a compilation of studies to have an overview of evidence, meaning that we actually pulled together data from several studies, and we found that on average, most youth sports would predispose players with higher BMI to injury risk. They had a higher risk of injuries for folks that had higher BMIs, that were overweight or obese, had higher risk of injuries. And so that is in youth sports. And that was what made me curious, or made us curious as to, testing the hypothesis to see whether a higher BMI would be a problem or will predispose players to a higher risk of injury in pickleball, because we advocate for people to move more, right? We want people to move more, and folks that have a higher BMI are looking for ways to stay fit and stay healthy and to move more. And so if it's a problem in most youth sports, most youth contact sports, then we felt, okay, let's see whether it's going to be a risk factor also in pickleball, mostly played by older adults and then the middle-aged folks. And we didn't see any association between injury risk and obesity or overweight.
So for my fellow middle-aged, overweight folks that are listening this morning, if they decide they want to jump into pickleball, as someone who really studies physical therapy, how can they avoid injury as they enter the sport and try to increase that movement?
Yeah, so that's the next line of action for my lab. We're now we're diving into finding specific strategies for prevention. But based on what we know from other sports and based on what we know from literature over the past years, we have specific targets for prevention. And this cuts across the board for everybody, not just for people with higher BMI. Before you get or jump into playing pickleball or any form of sports, you're expected to have a warm-up, a quick warm-up. So most folks just jump into play without warming up, and that's a problem. And the other thing is folks actually warm up with the wrong type of exercise. And so the first thing, again, you have to warm up. You have to get your body activated, activate your cardiovascular system, make sure your muscles are flexible enough, ready to engage and before you get into play. So for folks that are looking to stay out of injuries, please have a warm-up, a quick warm-up before you engage. For folks that are overweight, the same thing applies. Make sure you warm up before you engage in pickleball. And we working on what we call a pickleball-specific warm-up program right now that will help pickleball players stay active, stay fit, and stay away from injuries. And we also have a recovery program we're testing right now in an ongoing study. So overall, make sure you have a dynamic warm-up. And I'm going to emphasize the dynamic warm-up, not static stretching. And stretching itself has to be dynamic. So stretching is not a core component of a good warm-up that will help prevent injuries. It has to be a component. It has to include things like, sudden change in direction. So having a quick karaoke, having like 3 huggers, so dynamic warm-up where you're stretching your hamstrings and your quadriceps in a quick fashion, not stretching them and holding them for 30 seconds or so. You don't hold your stretch before you engage in sports. You do dynamic stretching, which incorporates strength and change in direction and a quick cardiovascular activation. So that's what they should take note of when they want to engage in sports. And also after sports, after playing pickleball, have enough time to recover by taking a lot of water, by making sure you that is when you now do your static stretching after playing pickleball, not before, because it's it's actually detrimental to do static stretching before you play pickleball. So after you finish your pickleball game, whether you're overweight or whether you're regular weight, it doesn't matter. Everybody has to recover. So make sure you do your static stretching after pickleball. That's when you do your static stretching after pickleball, and take a lot of water. And if you have a foam roller, do foam rolling. And you can incorporate some other forms of exercise like with exercises, 30 minutes to 1 hour after you're done with your pickleball play. So those are the quick recovery measures you can do before. Do your dynamic stretching, including strength and changing direction and activation of the cardiovascular system, and after, do some recovery exercises.
That is Dr. Olu Away, Associate Professor of Physical Therapy at St. Louis University and lead author of this pickleball study. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. And I would like to tell folks to please join the new study that we're doing right now. They can go to our website at tip-sleuth-tip-lab.com to check out the new study that we're doing and join the study, and also see how they can help us advance the cause of keeping folks safe in sports and making sure people have sustained physical activity participation. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. And also, we do need to mention that SLU's Translational Sports Injury Prevention Lab, the TIP Lab, that he was mentioning, is accepting donations, and they're going to host a pickleball tournament fundraiser. It's September 19th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Missouri Pickleball Club. Coming up, Kirkwood weighing a high-tech parking solution. Michael Calhoun will tell us more about it. First, though, we've got to get you to those parking lots, and Roger Brand is going to help you with that. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got a backup on 55, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Northbound 55 backed up for over a mile, maybe 2 miles coming into 67. The road work going on there. So delays at that point. After that, it's just a little slow between Bales and Weber, Loughborough, Virginia. So not that bad at the north end of the incident. North 278 Gravois, it's backed up to the Sappington Road overpass. Then North of 44 to Ladue, still busy. South 270, Olive to Ladue, that's still slow. Eastbound 64 coming off 61 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard through Winghaven, Clarkson to Timberlake, and east of Ballas all the way into the Interbelt's heavy. South 170, Bogstown, south of Olive. Westbound 64, the Science Center to Hanley is heavy. Eastbound Highway 70 still slow. East of 94 in through the Rock Road toward the airport in pockets. Westbound 70 delays at the city limits, and westbound 64 downtown. 3rd Street to the Poplar is pretty busy. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers, an important decision, and should not be based solely on advertising.
We'll have sunshine today. It'll be cooler than yesterday. I expect a high of 76. Right now, sunny 64 downtown at the Arch.
This is Tom Ackerman for Gamma Tree Experts, a full-service tree care firm specializing in the preservation of your valuable trees. We have a lot of trees in our yard, and Tim Gamma and Tom Gamma and their outstanding staff make sure that they are well taken care of. In fact, they have now put me in the habit of taking a look at the health of our trees, plants, and shrubs. And if I have any questions, I can reach out to them at 314-725-6159, 314-725-6159, or just go to gammatree.com to learn more. Gamma Tree Experts, they will come right over and give us a full inspection, make sure that we know which trees are in trouble, which trees are doing just great. And if we end up having any storm damage, they will clean that up as well. They are Gamma Tree Experts here since 1954. Gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's not as heated as, say, a skirmish over the last parking space, but Kirkwood officials are debating a $100,000 high-tech parking solution that's made by a local startup. KMOX's Michael Calhoun tells us about it.
It's no secret that parking around here is a challenge.
So Kirkwood council members are considering a contract with St. Louis startup Fiber to embed sensors into the pavement beneath parking spots downtown. Those sensors would feed real-time data to visitors and city staff about which spots are filled when.
This sounds like it's, a real attempt to try and deal with some of the parking issues that we have downtown. We offer mostly free parking that I'm aware of with time limited spaces, but this will help.
Councilwoman Nancy Litso.
Especially, for end of year holiday shopping and all of that. It's going to help address some of the issues as well as data collection.
And that's a point of agreement. Councilman Mark McLean.
I do like the aspect of being able to monitor where the parking violations are occurring.
Councilman Paul Schaefer.
If this is real time and we know that somebody's been parked there for 4 hours, is this a tool that we can use to help our parking attendant, Pat, out there to already identify what somebody is way over? I got to meet Pat today, and he does it by hand yet, paper, hand.
But McLean still has a concern about the cost benefit.
I still don't know how many residents will use it. realistically, they just get in their car, drive downtown, and find the first spot they can.
There was a 5-year limited test of this, and only about 1,800 people downloaded the Park Kirkwood app. There was the suggestion that maybe Kirkwood just deploy this in a few crowded zones, but it's really an all-or-nothing choice if the city wants the tech to have the desired impact, says Fiber Chief Technology Officer Brett Behringer.
If you go into just the key spaces and you say, we're going to monitor just these spaces, then all you're telling people is that the places that where everybody wants to park are full. And so really the way to do it is to say, here's where you want to park, but here's all the other options.
Part of the goal is to get drivers to stop circling around downtown looking for that primo parking spot.
You can't just say there's nowhere to park. You have to say there's nowhere to park right where you want to go, but here's some of your other options.
There are also concerns about whether the parking system could track people's vehicle movements. Behringer says it's like a big compass, really. It only detects whether a heavy metal object is parked in a particular spot.
There's an application, it's a map-based application, and it shows graphically what is going on, and each space is defined in that application. Same thing for the consumer-facing one, where it shows where available spaces are. In this case, it shows what violations are there, and that's color-coded according to what the violation is. So it's simply done on time. So
didn't identify. I mean, it's just that a vehicle's there.
that's correct. Yeah. So there's no
vehicle.
Yeah, there's no tracking. There's no personal identifiable information that's used in this.
And what if the technology becomes outdated? Does the city then have to shell out tens of thousands of more dollars to dig up and replace the sensors?
You pay for the system to go in, and then you don't have to pay again.
And Behringer says they are experienced with this. They've got contracts with parking garage operators in cities across the country, including in St. Charles. And council members admit
it sounds like really cool technology.
They'll consider it at their meeting tonight, starting at 7 p.m. For Total Information AM, Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's 8:29. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Life is change, an election, an illness, a death, and questions. What about my family, my retirement, my estate? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano stand ready to help you plan for your life changes and protect what matters to you. They have listened, planned, and executed thousands of estate plans, taxes, and legal documents for over 30 years. Right here in St. Louis. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano make it easy to get started. Go to their website, yourestatematters.com, and request their free webinar. It focuses on simple legal strategies and their process. Then schedule your free personal consultation. Life is change. Plan now. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestatematters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
Millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer online. Get NordVPN today with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic and help you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on NordVPN.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
Let's get a quick check of the roads now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, making this traffic report's a service of the Woodlands Senior Living of Arnold. Northbound 55 still has a jam coming into 67 due to the road work. Northbound 270, 44 up to Ladue busy. South 270 just slow. Olive to Ladue. Eastbound 64, 70 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard's busy. Clarkson to Timberlake. There's still pockets. Spady through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Science Center to Big Bend is heavy. And eastbound 70 still slow. East of 94 in through to 270. Westbound 64 3rd Street to the Poplar still congested. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
Sunny and cooler today, a high 76, clear to partly cloudy overnight with a low of 65. Right now, sunny, 64 in downtown St. Louis. The Trump administration taking the fight over tariffs to the Supreme Court. The government called on the High Court to reverse an appeals court ruling that found most of President Donald Trump's tariffs are an illegal use of an emergency powers law. Joining me, Bloomberg's Sarah Forden, the legal team leader in Washington. Sarah, thanks for your time this morning.
Sure, thanks for having me.
What are the administration's arguments for overturning that appeals court ruling?
So these tariffs are really the heart of the administration's economic policy in an effort to reverse trade imbalances. And Trump is saying that he has the executive power to issue these tariffs. He's using a 1977 law called the Emergency Powers Act, which he argues will let him set these tariffs and try to address these trade imbalances. He's also arguing that the trade of illegal fentanyl is also created an emergency, so he's also using that argument to target other tariffs regarding the import of chemicals that make fentanyl into this country.
Is it unusual that the administration has asked the High Court to rule so quickly?
So we're seeing increasingly this administration is going to the Supreme Court. There's been an unprecedented numbers of requests for emergency rulings. This case in particular is a request to take up a consideration of the underlying argument. So the administration is asking the court to take it up and to really consider whether or not this request is constitutional or not. They've asked them to make a decision by September 10th, which means that if they do decide to take it up, and we think they will, they could put it on their argument schedule for November. So we could even have a ruling before the end of the year.
So it's possible that the High Court will comply with that request to rule quickly?
We're waiting to see, but they've asked them to put this on an expedited schedule, and we are seeing that the court has been interested in taking some of these important questions where there have been diverging views by lower courts.
Now, just as a practical matter, with the appeals court ruling, it does not necessarily mean at this point that the administration has to pull all those tariffs.
No, so that is actually an important clarification to make. The tariffs are currently still in effect, pending a decision by the Supreme Court.
Okay, that is Sarah Forden, legal team leader for Bloomberg. Thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Missouri, get ready! The wait is almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State, and you can sign up today. New Missouri customers can get $300 in bonus bets when we launch on December 1st. Download now and place a $5 bet when we go live. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code KMOX to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. That's code KMOX in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
8:37, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. Federal Reserve officials from around the country say there was little or no change in economic activity in recent weeks. The central bank's latest Beige Book summary noted that consumer spending has been flat to declining as wages for many households failed to keep up with rising prices. Every region noted price increases. Two conservative news channels will face off in court. Newsmax Broadcasting has sued Fox News for allegedly maintaining a monopoly in the market for right-leaning pay TV news. The lawsuit claims that Fox News has kept out or restricted competitors by coercing distributors into accepting unfair terms that prevent them from carrying competing channels. Advertisers are pumped up for the Super Bowl already, buying up ad space. NBC Universal's ad inventory for the upcoming NFL season is 90% sold out, with the 2026 Super Bowl already fully booked, according to a statement yesterday from the entertainment division of Comcast. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman, Genesis of St. Charles, the #1 Genesis dealer in the state of Missouri for 2025. Every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Must be within 125 miles. That means complimentary pickup and delivery plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. They make it so easy for you. Schedule it all easily online with Genesis of St. Charles at genesisofstcharles.com. Go visit them. You can buy online and let them deliver for you, or you can go see them at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. Luxury service at a state-of-the-art facility that's in St. Peters off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership is Genesis of St. Charles. Online at genesisofstcharles.com.
Since we opened our doors in 1868, Busey has fostered deep customer relationships and vibrant communities, embodying a legacy of partnership and progress. With multiple lines of business, we provide a range of financial solutions tailored to your needs. From digital banking to planning for retirement, Busey is here to help you achieve your financial goals. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. Did you know that warmer weather can have an impact on people with dry eye and who experience itchy, scratchy eyes? The heat makes tear production more important. Tears are essential for overall eye health and clear vision. Without good tear production, our eyes can become inflamed, irritated, and damaged. And those conditions can sometimes be difficult to reverse. It's important to see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates if you're experiencing any eye discomfort due to the weather. Call today at 314-966-5000. Make an appointment with doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. They're known as the doctors' doctors because more than 250 local doctors are their patients. In Sullivan, St. Peters, and at their main headquarters, 270 in Manchester. Call 314-966-5000 or online, youridoc.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Let's try to get you to work on time. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got delays out there, Megan. This traffic report's a service of Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. If you're on northbound 55, north of 61 up to 67, still roadwork delays running through there. After that, it's not that big deal. It's a little busy around Virginia. Northbound 270 Big Bend up to Ladue, slow south 270 north of Olive to Ladue, heavy. If you're on eastbound 64, a little busy at Clarkson, and then from Lindbergh through the inner belt, westbound 64 Hampton to Big Bend is slow, south 170 bogs down at the Parkway, westbound 70 at the city limits a little busy, and westbound 64 approaching Route 3 to the Poplar, that's still slow. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like it's going to be cooler than yesterday, but plenty of sunshine, a high of 76 degrees, partly cloudy tonight, a low of 65. Right now we have sunshine, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Jerry Kelly swings next day installs no matter how late you call. And because they work later every day, they're faster when your equipment just needs fixing too.
That's MVP material.
Yep, simple fix or a full install. Nobody gets you comfortable faster.
JerryKelly.com.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. It appears some manufacturers may be close to a tipping point when it comes to increased costs. Let's get the latest snapshot of the region's economy. Charles Gaskin is senior economist in the research division at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Good morning. Thank you for coming in studio this morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
I want to start off with that price picture. What are contacts saying about what they are facing when it comes to prices right now?
Yeah, so overall in the manufacturing sector as well as in the construction sector, we're hearing a lot of reports of increased cost pressures. So those cost pressures are building up and firms are trying to figure out how much of that they can pass on to their own customers. And this is a bit of a challenging game because you don't know at what point you're going to start losing market to your competitors if you raise your prices too much. That being said, many households are expecting their costs and their prices to go up. And so that's leading to, them willing to accept some of these higher prices that they might otherwise not be willing to accept.
I thought it was really interesting. There was one manufacturer that said that, they're buying things domestically, but they're seeing about an 8 to 10% increase in those costs.
Yeah, contacts attributed, their cost increases both to tariffs in some cases from things coming from international, but also some businesses are looking at their overall cost structure and they're realizing businesses are willing to accept higher prices in some cases. So they're using this as an opportunity to also improve their profit margins, which have really been compressed over the last couple of years.
Before we get into some of the other categories, I just want to kind of see overall in the region that takes in a number of states, including Missouri, where do we stand compared to what the National Beige Book looks like right now?
Yeah, so overall, the National Beige Book, most districts reported that economic conditions were unchanged. So growth was really close to zero. We had about 4 districts, the San Francisco Fed, I think the Minneapolis Fed as well, that reported that economic activity was declining in their districts. But overall, the picture was relatively flat. The places where we're seeing strength in the country remain in the Southeast, as well as in the state of Texas and kind of that broader Southwest area. That's where we've seen generally strong growth over the last couple of years.
What's the state of real estate and construction right now?
So real estate activity has been relatively slow. Construction activities has been on kind of stable at this point. The project pipeline's been slowing down. The place that we are seeing continued activity in construction is on data centers. So that's really driven by this demand for AI. So that's driving the demand in commercial real estate. And that's been a tension because a lot of communities are trying to understand the overall cost of these new data centers and what that means for the community. So but it is the big driver of construction activity at this point in time.
You mentioned AI,
Yep.
And there have been a lot of stories lately about how that could be impacting labor markets and some companies. Is there any indication of that in the contacts this time?
Yeah, so it really ties a lot back to what we're seeing in the cost pressure side of things. So businesses are looking at their material costs and their goods costs, and they're seeing that these costs have gone up. They don't want to pass them on to their customers, so they're looking for other ways to save. The place that they're looking to save is on labor. So we've seen wage growth slow down, the demand for labor cool. And a lot of firms are looking into new technologies as a way to either augment existing labor so they can continue to grow or to replace, departing workers if that's the situation. So it's really pulling back in the entry level hiring in a lot of those places. But then there's also these reports that, job seekers are using these technologies as well to make sure that they're more prepared when they go in, so they can do, interviews with an AI bot to make sure that they have the answers to their questions right and see what the follow-ups are going to look like. So it's impacting the labor market in many different ways.
How does that impact the labor market? How does that impact then consumer spending? What are we seeing there?
So in consumer spending, a lot of it's driven by, overall, do people have a job? Are they continuing to get paid? As of this point, the unemployment rate remains relatively low. So the labor market still seems to be in a good place. but the outlook for the labor market seems to be weakening. And so that is leading to some pullback in consumer spending. Businesses are seeing that. They're also seeing this price sensitivity. So they are using discounts and promotions to drive traffic. So the consumer spending reports are really mixed. We heard a lot of contacts telling us that things were just volatile from one month to the next because they just didn't know, where the demand was going to come from. They didn't know if their competitors were using promotions, and that was what was pulling people away, or if they were just coming back or not coming back into the stores.
One other area that I thought was really interesting to look at, just because I grew up in Central Illinois farming community.
Yeah.
It looks like for farmers right now, it's been kind of a difficult year for them.
Yeah, I kind of difficult is a nice way to say it. I think it's been a really difficult year for row crop farmers. We have commodity prices that are at some of the record lows. Input costs are continuing to be elevated, so that you put those two things together, and it's hard to make a profit. Yields are looking good, so that's a positive. We had really favorable weather, so that's going to help out with yields, but it's not expected to be enough to offset those higher costs. And we're hearing from farm equipment dealers, for example, that they're starting to see delinquencies pick up and farmers not being able to make payment on their crops. And just in talking to row crop farmers, they're trying to decide, how many more years am I going to do this as they age out of the industry, and not knowing what the next steps look like.
So it sounds like we could be seeing more farms fail.
I mean, land values are still holding up. And so that's really the number one asset that many row crop farmers have. And as long as those land values hold up, that often allows them to have access to credit. So that's the positive at this point in time.
All right. That is Chuck Gaskin, senior economist in the research division at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Thank you, as always, for coming in to share your insights.
Happy to be here.
Coming up next on Total Information AM, an early childhood center in operation for 85 years is planning a reunion. Debbie Monterrey has more coming up.
That baby's gone!
Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals.
That ball was mashed.
And there are more ways to watch this season.
Holy cow!
Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts.
How about that play?
Or watch through a TV provider.
Incredible!
Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more.
He got it!
Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
For years now, my husband's family has been caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's, and sometimes it's been a difficult walk as the disease has progressed. Well, last year, I had a chance to meet scores of other families who are taking those same steps at the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's, and we're closing in on this year's event. It's Saturday, October 25th at Chesterfield Amphitheater and Central Park. You can register right now at alz.org/walk. Last year, this walk raised more than $1.3 million. That goes into Alzheimer's care, support, and research programs. And those families that I met, they walk not only for their own loved ones, but they're also thinking about better outcomes for themselves if they get Alzheimer's disease, and then their families in the decades to come. So I hope you'll join me this year, Saturday, October 25th, Chesterfield Amphitheater in Central Park, because now is really the time for action. And the promise is that there are some new treatments emerging that have been great for tackling this disease from the start. So we've got a lot of hope. Join the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's, Saturday, October 25th. Help us see a world without Alzheimer's. Register today at alz.org/walk. That is alz.org/walk.
It's back, and you're invited to join us in Forest Park, September 19th and 20th, for the 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Special thanks to New Ground International and Blue Moon Brewing Company. The 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend. For more details, visit the events page at KMOX.com.
There is a celebration on the Hill, and maybe this involves you and you want to be part of this reunion. I am joined by Sister Christian Price. Thanks for being with us on KMOX.
Thank you for having me.
Now, this is a place that I pass often on Mackland Avenue. It is Sacred Heart Villa. It's an early childhood center. Explain a little bit about what's happening.
Well, on September 14th, we are celebrating 85 years of being at the corner of Macklin and Wilson as an early childhood center. We're looking for people to come back who have been there. It seems like every time you meet somebody, they say, "Oh, I know somebody that went there." So we're trying to bring people back that have been to the villa. We have a mass at St. Ambrose Church at 2:00, and then a block party down by between Wilson on Wilson Avenue between Edwards and Macklin.
I'm really interested in the history of Sacred Heart Villa because when I hear 85 years that it's been an early childhood center or a daycare, it makes me wonder because we don't think about daycare that many years ago. So what's the genesis of this, or what was happening?
Well, the Apostles of the Sacred Heart of Jesus is the congregation that I belong to, and they had been on Cole Street serving at Our Lady Help of Christians. So in 1937, they came to the Hill with permission to build an early childhood center. And in 1940, it opened up mainly because the men were going to war and the women were working in the factories. And so there was a need for taking care of their children. So it became like a nursery at the beginning. And over the years, we adapt to the needs of what is needed for. But our sister Felicetta is probably the most memorable person who was there. She started in December of 1939 and stayed at the villa for 67 years.
Wow. 67 years. I'm sure she saw a lot of changes over that time.
She did. She used to bring the children in, and eventually she started teaching them piano. And I think it was later on she started making pasta that she sold to help defray some of the cost of the school. One of the things that this anniversary is going to do, they're going to name the street between Macklin and Edwards in honor of her.
And did you say it was Franchetta?
Sister Felicetta.
Felicetta. That's a great name.
Yeah, it is.
I'm wondering, you said in 1940 it was necessary because women were working in the factories. Do you know what happened when the men came back and got their jobs back? How did the mission change then?
Well, it adapted a little bit because St. Ambrose School was being built and they didn't have room for kindergarten or first graders. So they came to the villa and we taught them at that time, as well as taking in nursery children. And then over the years, we've adapted. We used to have from 3-year-olds to kindergarten. And as the parish schools wanted their own kindergarten, we adapted to that by dismissing the kindergarten, and then we increased our toddler program.
And what are things like today at Sacred Heart Villa?
Well, today we have 94 students. Our largest group is toddlers, 2-year-olds, which is really something.
Because people tell me all the time, oh, no one with kids lives in the city. And I'm like, that's not true.
The Hill is becoming a much younger population. They're building more houses. There's a lot of different places where young families can live. So we do get children from the Hill. We get a lot of children from St. Gabriel's, and we get children from parents who are doctors and nurses at Barnes.
Very interesting. And how long have you been there?
I've been here only 3 years. This is my 3rd year.
Okay. Because I feel like the Hill is almost in some ways a time capsule. I mean, things change on the Hill too, obviously, but it still has that feel of one of those very traditional neighborhoods that doesn't change too much.
It is a traditional neighborhood in the sense that it seems very safe. You can walk around, but there's a lot of new stores coming up, restaurants. And so the businesses on the Hill have been very good to Sacred Heart Villa.
And just for people who haven't been to the Hill in a while, every time I've tried to make reservations at a restaurant on the Hill on just any random day, they're always full. So I thought, well, other restaurants are struggling, but on the Hill, it's hard to get a reservation even on like a Wednesday evening.
You got to make those reservations ahead of time.
For sure. So if anybody has an affiliation with Sacred Heart Villa, they are encouraged to come to this celebration. And tell us again what time.
It's September 14th. It's a Sunday. It's at 2:00 at St. Ambrose Church. And after the Mass, we will walk down to the block between Edwards and Macklin and have a block party. We'll have food, we'll have a band, and we'll have some face painting and different things for the children.
Excellent. Well, have a wonderful celebration, and it's a great history of Sacred Villa. Sister Christian Price is joining us. She is the director of Sacred Heart Villa here on KMOX.
Thank you,
Thank
Debbie.
you.
And coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM, 314 Day, looking for an artist to design next year's theme. Plus, a third of Americans say they've lost friendships over money.
We're live from Whitmore Country Club for the Ted Savage Golf Classic, expecting some Cardinals dignitaries to stop by. Also, we'll have our regular conversation with Major Garrett. The Chris and Amy Show gets started right after the news here on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's easy to believe that all it takes these days to sell a home is you just say, hey, my home's for sale, and boom, somebody comes along and buys it. Because it seems like there have been times in the last few years it's been like that, but it doesn't work like that most of the time. So if you want